Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello everybody. How's it going? Let's see what we got here. It's a new setup, everything's changed. I'm excited. We've got a new external hard drive for all my footage. We've got a new monitor. We've got some new USB ports for the laptop so I can plug more shit into it. How's it going, everyone? Naughty timing. Listen. I'm a few minutes late. I totally understand. Valkyrie, welcome. Washfix. MH, Matt. Chris, how's it going? Look, I know I'm 3 minutes late. Calm down, everyone, please. Christ. Reroll. Dauntless already. Have you just started? He wants a reroll. How's it going? Everyone happy? We all good? No video this week, unfortunately, but it's for a good reason. I've taken Ryan's advice, curbside cleaning. He gave me some advice on the stream a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't really advice, it was just something he was trying to sort of live by a little bit. And his videos, he said he only records videos on those jobs that he knows are going to be absolute bangers. Like amazing before and afters. And so I'm not going to film everything I do anymore. I'm going to film the good stuff. And it's still going to be the same sort of content. It's still going to be like almost sort of tutorial-esque. It's going to be aimed less at the masses, trying to get that audience of people just wanting to watch satisfying content. It will be that as well, but it's going to be like, I'm going to gear it towards just filming the real good jobs. So hopefully that will translate into just better videos, hopefully. Look at you all. God, there's 30 of you here already. Chris, Dauntless, Glenn, Marcus, welcome. Barclay, Anthony. Letting the fans down. Imagine being 3 minutes late. I've been running around the house. I've just tried to make myself a quick coffee. And when I say tried, I succeeded. Dave, welcome. Thank you, mate. I'm sure you were already a Circle member last week. But thank you. Zoomer blocks. Is that my boy? You've fallen badly sick. Manny, no way. Do you hear me whistle then? Evening Jake and the crowd, Squeegee Dave. Just chatting with my graphics designer about a new logo. Decided to rebrand altogether. Have you got any drafts? Have you got any ideas? The Lawn Ranger. Millhouse, welcome. Sorry if I missed you. The giveaway is now 25p. I've not heard back from Daniel. I think we've had a couple of sales for the Pro Grip stuff, and I think I must owe him like 50 quid now, but he's not been in touch, so bargain. How do? XTX. I've got some stuff to show you today. I think it was you, XTX, wasn't it, who recommended these 3M headphones a couple of weeks back. And I can honestly say these are a bit of a game changer. A little bit. Jake loves them. We've got a pair each, and they're over ear ones. So I can't even hear myself talking now. That's going to be an issue. They're ear defenders. Am I shouting? I think I'm shouting. They're ear defenders, but they're also Bluetooth headphones, and they're really good. Before, I think what I was doing was just trying to block out the noise of the pressure washer by just turning my music up in my headphones. And so I was getting double penetration. Double, what was I getting? I was getting hit twice. was getting attacked from all sides from just loud noise. I was getting the pressure washer from this angle, the music from this angle, and I've probably just been killing my ears. So these, you delete the noise of the pressure washer, pretty much, and you can put your music on, but you don't have to have it on as loud. So, Luca, is that you? Zoomer blocks. Let's catch up. We've got Richard joining us in a minute, just for a little chat for an hour. You went for the generator for the gutter vac in the end. Hi Jake, new here. Jason, welcome. What are the purpose of your videos? Is it to offer help and advice, or to get new customers? Is it worth making videos when you're starting out? Some of my videos have translated into people getting in touch because they've seen my YouTube and they can sort of see I do a good job, but that wasn't the main reason I started the channel. I started the channel to sort of try and help people a little bit. Hoping to come here for some inspiration. We've actually recently lost one of the pivotal, valuable members of the Discord. He's going back to South Africa, and he was fantastic with like logos and digital design and stuff. So got a new setup today. Do you want to see? Do you guys want to see? Let me see if I can spin you around without turning this camera off, because it's a little bit... I've got a new monitor. Look. Oh, look at that. I've got... So this is what I had before, and I had an old screen off to the side here. But now I've got a beautiful new, bigger, crispier screen. And I've just bought an external hard drive, because I'm in a constant battle, this thing here. I'm in a constant battle with having to keep deleting footage, which is the last thing I want to do, to make room for more stuff. And like the laptop is constantly, the memory on the laptop's constantly full, so the laptop's running slow. And to free up space to make a new video, I have to like move stuff around constantly, and it's really annoying. So I've got an 8 terabyte external hard drive. Because my thought process is, if YouTube ever disappears, or if my channel gets deleted or whatever, I've just lost all that footage. If I don't keep it and YouTube delete it, that's it, it's gone. Years and years of work is just gone. So I'm keeping everything I've ever recorded is now on this external hard drive, and so it's a little bit more reassuring than, you know. They are good. These are I think these are about 75 quid on Amazon. 3M Bluetooth Scooby Firkins. I bought 300 quid from PureSeal with your code, by the way, so I hope you get some dollar. I did, thank you. I get an email every time someone buys something, so thank you. By the way, the code, if you want 5% off of your PureSeal order until the end of July, it's SMELT5. You get 5%, I get a bit of commish. It's a win-win. You know what I mean? Question for you: what would be the best part in ProGrep to buy, as I have nothing else yet? The sizes are throwing me off. I'd probably just buy some lance holders, because they're sort of generic sizes. Should we see if Rich is about? Here he is.
5%.
Here he is.
You'll order until the end of July. It's Mount 5. Am I on the right thing?
Yes. Let me instead of this.
5%. I get a bit of commission, so I've still got you going.
All right.
Yeah.
Instead
I'm a bit further behind.
Instead of this, let me try calling you.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
Move out of this chat, and then I'll try calling you. All right.
Well, I'll try and get rid of it. I've been trying to get rid of it for a while, but I can't get rid of it. Yeah.
Disconnect. Where's he gone? Am I going to call the right person here? All the names have gone because I'm in streamer mode. I don't even know who I'm calling. I think I got him. I don't know if I've got the right person here. There's a bat on your windowsill. You got the final product, but you were using the prototype. What are you talking about, Dauntless? Oh, it is you, Luca. Hello, mate. Use your link and the promo code on PureSeal the other day. Thanks for the code. Thanks for the PureSeal Epic offers. No worries, mate. Bert. Hi, folks. Bert, I don't think I've seen your name in here before, have I? Welcome. I think that's not working, so let's try again. Disable that. There it is. Call. I'm ready. Huh. Hello? Hello? No, he's not there. Crackers, welcome, mate. How you doing? I haven't really heard from you since the cleaning expo. How you been? You got your third pond cleaning job this month. What's your process for pond cleaning? Do you just drain it and then gut it all out and pressure wash it, or do you have to do something special with the fish? I would have thought pond cleaning, if it's got any sort of wildlife in there, it's going to be quite a weird process. I've tried calling you. This is funny. Maybe I can do it on WhatsApp instead. Yeah, you just got to spell the PureSeal code right, because we've got an issue with spelling in this chat, I think. People trying to enter the giveaway and they just can't follow instructions, apparently. Evening, you're cleaning windows. Where do you get your workwear from? In particular, the black jackets. There's a place in my town called Orchard Clothing. Orchard Clothing. It's mainly like a school uniform shop, but they've just started doing a massive range of workwear and stuff. Oh, the lances are 2 different sizes. Oh, I don't know, mate. I'm sorry. Maybe give them a ring. I'm sure Dan would be able to, Dan or Darren would be able to help you out. What's a good petrol pressure washer to begin with? Angelo. Some people like the JCB. I went for the Parker brand. You just gotta like get your expectations in check, in that it's, for that sort of money, it's not going to last you very long, and you're going to want to upgrade pretty quickly, but it will get you going. Let's get some more light in here. Oh yeah, look at that. You're a bit bright though. There we go. Okay. Just joined as a circle member. Oh, nice. Leaving a few minutes early. Oh, is he here? You've been by yourself in this call for more than 3 minutes. Oh, nice. Okay. Hello.
Is he here?
Hello, you alright, mate?
You've been by yourself in this call for more than 3 minutes. Oh, nice. Okay. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Is he here?
Hello, you alright, mate?
I can hear you. You're going to have to turn me off in the background, though.
Got ya.
There we go. That's better.
There we go. Me and technology, eh?
How you been?
Yeah, been good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
Uh,
Have we got a camera today?
apart from the weather, mate. Let's have a little go. There we go.
There he is.
I think we're on.
There he is.
Need a hair.
No, you
Need
don't.
bowling ball head.
Bowling ball.
I think. They used to call me at work Lego head. It's like a
My brother,
solid bit of hair.
my brother calls my nipples Lego man heads.
I want to feel the balls. I've only ever felt them.
How do I get rid of my camera? Can you still see my camera?
No, I've just got a picture of you.
Can you see my camera now?
Oh, I can see your camera now.
That's right. I was trying to get rid of the view for myself. You've been doing some jobbies last week, haven't you? I've seen your social medias.
Yeah, I've had quite a bit come through, which has been good. It's slowed down inquiry-wise over the last week or so. But yeah, I've been busy, so can't complain.
Do you know how long you've been going since you first started? Since your very first job?
The very first job was... What was the first job? I think it was April.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 3 months. About 3 months or so now.
How many do you reckon you've been doing per week, roughly?
Well, I've tried to fill weekends out mostly because I'm working like Monday through to Friday. So I'm trying to the smaller jobs I can get in like on the evenings, but then I'm mainly doing them weekends. But so I'd probably say like an average, probably say 2-3 a week at the moment. Obviously the bigger ones, they can take a couple of days. But yes, yeah, at least a couple of jobs a week.
Is that all from just leaflets?
Leaflets and word of mouth. I think the social media, Facebook and Instagram posts, I think being consistent with them and people and seeing the work on there, I've had some recommendations from people who are following us on that. So that's worked well. The leafleting, I'm struggling with time, to be honest, mate. It just takes up so much time.
Yeah. Even after a job, even like after you've just been flat out for like 3 hours pressure washing, the last thing you want to do is hang around for another half an hour walking around the road and dropping leaflets off. But
yeah,
I can't even say that it's worth doing because I think I've had one inquiry from all the leaflets I've ever dropped off.
really?
And it's
the same to start with.
But you've had loads more success than I have with leaflets.
Yeah, I think. Well, I've had some of them. You know, I've dropped off the first week of leafleting, and they're only just getting back in contact with me like the last week or so. So, although it may not be like instant results from it, you never know. That one person could give you a call, and that could be 500 quid there on a job. So it's paid for the leaflets itself. But I would probably say I've maybe had, I reckon maybe like 7 or 8 jobs from the leaflets, and I've probably delivered about 2,500.
But all of your jobs look to be like high value jobs.
Yeah.
So they're probably paid. They're paid for the time and the cost of the leaflets.
Yeah, that was my focus to start with because I knew that I was going to be doing this like alongside my other job. So I wanted to try and focus on ones where when I'm set up, it might take me like, a full weekend to do, but at least I know then financially it's worth it and it's not, interrupting what I'm currently doing as well. So, but it's really just what I've been trying to focus on, bigger jobs.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do this year. I'm not sure if I'll need to yet, but if things do start to quieten down a little bit, I can't remember whether this was my idea or someone else's. I might have stole this from someone else, but having a winter leaflet and then a summer leaflet, so one for pressure washing and then one for like gutter clearing and maybe even Christmas lights on there. I don't know if I'd put Christmas lights on there really, but have you got a plan for winter yet? Are you just going to go all in with the gutters?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go in all in with the gutters and try and land some commercial jobs. Because again, even if it's if I can land one big job a month, it pays for itself. Ideally, I think I enjoy doing the pressure washing. It's my favourite part of everything that of the jobs that I've been on with you. So ideally, I'd like to try and keep it at that. But I mean, if it quietens down, I'm not against trying something else. So the plan has always been to get a gutter back, and I want to get a water fed pole as well. Do fascia, soffits, gutter clearing, which I would imagine would be towards probably say September time. I think just trying to build up as much funds now as possible. The next plan is to have a bit of a shift around with the van because, of course, space. No matter how much
Yeah.
space, you're always going to fill it. But I think that's going to be the next. I might spend maybe budget $1,000 or so to try and just get that sorted, just to free up more time, more space because gutter vacs aren't small, so I need to make sure I've got enough room for that.
I found in your van, I was able to fit my 250 litre upright tank. I had the Kiam 15 litre per minute machine in there, a mounted hose reel, and then I just about had space for the Panther vacuum and the bag of poles. Yeah. The bag of poles had to be sort of slid over the passenger seat, over the top of the seat. So if someone was in there, they'd be like sort of... But
I've got that simulated with the surface cleaner at the moment.
Yeah.
I've got that to the one side. So if anyone's sitting in the van, like the surface cleaner handles like either side of the head.
Yeah. Or they can have it the other way around and they can wear it as a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it shocked me the first year when the end of September came around and then the phone just stopped ringing altogether with regards to like all pressure washing work. And so I wish I'd have been more proactive in looking into the gutter vacuums like sooner rather than later, because that really did sort of save me through the winter. But like you say, the commercial jobs, I think we was fortunate where Zach managed to get us in with a couple of schools by sending some emails round, and we did like 1 or maybe 2 schools per month over the winter, and they ranged from like gutter clearing to solar panel cleaning to a little bit of pressure washing here and there because things were getting slippy and algae and fire exits and that sort of stuff. And that winter period was my strongest period that I've had, just because I've had those 1 or 2 commercial jobs per month. Like, it really does make a huge difference to the bank account, and the jobs only take 1 or 2 days, but it's massive. It's massive for your income.
Yeah.
Have you got? Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you know how you're very busy at the moment and work's going very well at the moment. How did that compare to when you did land them commercial jobs over the winter time? I know you've had the best winter that you've had, but how do you find, it compared to where you're at now?
Yeah, things are going crazy at the moment, and like crazy enough where I was confident enough to employ Jakey. So it is just getting stronger and stronger. But I'm still cautious about the winter that's coming up, because if I just don't get any commercial work this winter, then it's not going to be half as good as last year. But things are in that sort of trajectory where it's a mix of, my experience and sort of building up that customer base, where the more people you interact with, the more potential sort of lifelong customers that you have, and the more recommendations that keep popping up, because every new customer is then a potential for having 5 other customers off the back of them, like friends and family and stuff. And so it can only, as long as you're doing good work, it can only go up and up every year, can't it? Like, I don't understand how it can't. So hopefully you'll get to the point where you've done enough work and had enough customers where you then don't have to advertise at all, because you'll be doing year on year, you'll have the same customers coming back, or their friends or their family.
Yeah, I think that's why it's such an important thing to do the job properly or as close to perfect as you can from day one, because word of mouth will spread. It's going to take time, like any business, to grow, but I think come year 2, even if you can get a quarter of work that you've done, it's still a head start from where you were before you started. So I think year on year, as long as you're doing a good job and you keep consistent with that, there is no reason why it shouldn't.
Yeah, and your cost of advertising gradually goes down, and the amount of jobs you get coming in gradually goes up. And so in theory, it should be less effort year on year to generate leads and generate work. But then the added pressure to that is the natural progression then is to expand and take on more employees, and then it's at that point when you need to start advertising again, and like you need to fill the calendar for all of your employees rather than just for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like a constant chase for, which is why I don't know if that's the direction I want to go. I don't know if I do want to expand, because the business might generate more money as a whole, but will I ever see, will that just generate more stress for me and not necessarily any more money? The business might be worth more, but my bank account might not change very much. So is it worth it? Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great position to be in. To start it off yourself, learn it all, and then get to a point where you can employ someone, and to get to a point where you think, right, I can be very happy where I am at the moment, both financially and, work-life balance, or is it worth taking that next step? It's whatever you enjoy. If you would, let's think of it at the end of the day. If you did make that jump and you were looking to try and grow that business, the worst thing that can happen is it falling apart. What are you then going to do? You're going to go back on the tools and carry on doing what you're doing now. I don't think that from what I can think of, I don't think that there's much risk of trying to grow it, but it's only if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it,
that's the thing. Because I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, and it's like a decent balance where, there's an extra bit of pressure with having Jakey on board, because I've got to make sure there's enough work for him. Like today, it rained, and so I was going to do a sealing job this morning, and you can't just sort of pull other jobs forward because it's raining. So I've had to just say to Jakey, like, you're going to have to take Monday off. I'll do some admin, and we'll start early on Wednesday instead, and we'll get that sealing job done on Wednesday. So there is that bit of added pressure, but yeah, also like that seems to be the natural progression, is just expanding. And I was speaking to my mom about it a while ago, and she keeps reminding me about what I said. It's like, is there any reason to keep chasing more and more? Can you not just get to the point where you're content and comfortable in life and with your work-life balance and stuff, and just enjoy it and just keep it there? But I don't know. I think knowing my personality, I'll constantly be chasing something else. I think even if I retired, I'd still be busy. I'd still be doing stuff. I think I'm just that sort of person, but it depends what you want. Everyone that I've spoke to that has expanded seems a little bit miserable, or that they remember when it was just them on the tools, or them and their friend, and it was like a really good balance. So I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know, but
yeah. Even if it was the case you're staying where you were at the moment, even for a couple of years, and then revisiting it, there's no pressure for you to make that jump, as long as you're happy with the amount that you're earning and also the time freedom that you have. Then my advice would be, happiness is always going to be better than money.
Yeah. It's figuring out what you actually want in life, rather than just letting stuff happen to you, because a lot of people just allow stuff to happen, and that dictates the direction they point their life to. And I don't know if that's necessarily very clever, because then you're just a victim of your circumstances constantly. And I think if you have a direction and you have not even goals, because I'm terrible at making goals. I've tried so many times to have like a 5-year plan, and it's
Yeah.
I write a list and then never look at that list ever again. It's just pointless.
I've still got a list like in my phone case of where I want to be like in 5 years, and I haven't looked at it since I've written it. That was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to find that in a few years and think, bloody hell, I wish I stuck to it.
I think things change too often to be able to have any sort of plan like that, unless you know exactly what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Marcus just said hitting VAT changed my world, and I'm interested why that is, because that would be the next step for me, is going VAT registered. And again, like the people I've spoke to, puts so much more pressure on the business. You're having to charge your customers 20% more than you did last year. You're offering the same service. You're risking alienating and losing, a substantial customer. Like these customers that have been with you for years, you suddenly up your prices by 20%. And then, it's just seems like a whole new world of pain. That it seems like the better you do in business, the more you get punished, which is like, seems like the opposite of what it should be.
Yeah. I don't know too much like regarding that or anything, but there's got to be, I mean, to get to a point where you're then contemplating whether to be VAT registered or not, there's got to be more perks outweighing not being VAT registered for it to make sense. Why would you, unless it's going to benefit in the long run? Again, I don't have a clue, but unless it's going to benefit you, why would you do it?
I don't know a lot about it, but I think you're forced to. As soon as you hit the 85 grand threshold, you're then forced to go VAT registered legally. But it's just I know like I think my business is a bit of an anomaly because of the way my social media's sort of performed. I don't know if a lot of other people that start a pressure washing business will be sort of at this stage in 3 years. So I don't know if it's something that's on everyone's mind, but is it 90,000 for the VAT threshold? Is it? Okay.
If you're bringing 90 grand in, you're doing well. So does it get to a point where you stop growth and stick to that?
Just under the threshold, yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, it's not a bad position to be in if you're bringing 90 grand in.
Yeah, and it's not all profit, is it? Like, but it's
yeah.
And I'm not there yet. That's not what I'm saying. But I've just had to. I've been looking into paying Jakey because it's all legit. Like I'm doing it all properly, and he's a actual employee of the business now. He's not self-employed or anything like that, which is what a lot of people do. I think I'm going pretty much above and beyond what most people would do in the pressure washing industry if they had help, if they had a mate helping them out. I can't imagine 95% of them are actually employing them. And so that's like a whole new thing that I've not I have no idea what I'm doing. So I spoke to, who's this?
Hello.
What?
All I can see is a red light Discord symbol.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone into a different chat.
Hello. And the camera on.
Maybe should we go into invite only? I'll drag you down. There we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Rudely interrupted. You might have to put your camera back on. There we go. What are we talking about? Yeah, so I've spoke to my accountant, and he said some of you guys saw him on the live stream, actually, Neil, and he said we can take care of the payroll stuff for you, because I've been on the Gov website and the language that they use is just so confusing. And I don't know if anyone else has been through this, but everyone I've spoke to said the Gov website is just so bloody confusing to try and do yourself. Just the terminology they use, I don't know whether I'm doing or applying for the right thing. And then you're constantly hitting roadblocks where it says something about to be a sole trader and register as an employer, you need to become an organisation first. So that's another thing I had to apply for before I could apply for pay as you earn for Jakey. And it's just constant, like, trying to figure that out in between trying to, you know, run the business and stuff. But they're taking care of it now for me, and it's going to be like £46 a month just to pay him. So my accountant's going to sort that out for me for the payroll stuff. 46 quid a month. And then on top of that, it's obviously his earnings. Then they're going to work out the tax that HMRC get from that. And then there's the pension contribution and all that sort of stuff. So it's just like, it's not just the cost of employing someone. It's paying them their sick leave. It's paying them their holiday, pension contributions, payroll, admin fees, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's just wild, the amount of extra stuff there is. But
it's not just thinking about getting a job booked in now, is it?
No, it's not. No, there's so much more to it. And when you're looking at the sort of profit and loss, not loss, you book a job in, you think, okay, that's my materials, that's my fuel, there's my profit. And that is not your profit. Like, when it comes to running the business and maintaining all your gear and vans, MOTs, all that sort of stuff, your profit starts to sort of go more like that. And this is a high profit industry, I feel like. Have you noticed that compared to a lot of things you've done in the past? I mean, what are we paying for? It's fuel, really, isn't it? It's fuel and maintenance on your machine.
I think the maintenance can be a big cost if something serious goes wrong, but as long as you're charging the right amount for each job that you're booking in, you should make sure that, you know, you're covering enough just in case that happens. That's a good thing as well. Not going in too cheap, setting yourself a square meterage price and sticking to that until the customer questions on price. And then if you want to relook at the figures, make sure you are taking into consideration any costs that there may be. Do
you find yourself haggling?
In all honesty, I've probably only had 2 people come back to me questioning price, which I'm always open to hearing their thoughts. I'll always give them my absolute best offer and say, listen, that's the best I can do. I've had a couple where I have, I'd probably say about 5 or 6 where I have been too expensive. But I've just been like, listen, if you change your mind, give us a shout. If you've got any questions, let me know. Still want to keep the door open there in case they do come back to you in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
So,
and this is where having a portfolio online and solid reviews can really, like, tip the scale in your favour. And if they do pick someone else to do the work and they do a bad job, you know, they've learnt. All they have to do is look at your before and after pictures and they can tell you get the result. And not everyone does. I don't know if you've seen pictures online, but not everyone gets the result, really.
Yeah. Some of them I've seen, I think, have they bothered cleaning it yet?
Yeah, you can't really tell the difference between the before and after.
And I get you've got to start somewhere and everything, and then them are the kind of things that you learn from. But yeah, just get the best result possible first time round. And if you do mess something up, tell them you'll be back round to resolve it.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing is honesty. Like we did a conservatory clean the other day, and it was a pretty big conservatory, really. Very difficult access around the side, and because we were putting so much water onto this conservatory roof, the whole ground, it was like grass and just dirt around the floor. It all just sort of got real boggy and wet, and I had to go inside to sort of unplug my gutter vacuum. And I got there, it's only a little doormat. I got it all filthy. And I said, look, I've got nothing to clean this with, but if you want to knock it off the bill, I totally understand that, carry on. Whatever it's going to cost to replace it, just let me know. And they was like, no, don't worry. But I knew they'd say that. I knew they'd said no, they'd say no, don't worry. But it's the offer that counts. It's being honest and saying, we were at the front door, we were about to leave, and I said, look, I left your mat a little bit dirty out the back there. happy to try and clean it, or you can just knock it off the bill. And she went, no, don't worry about that, I'll sort that. But
Yeah.
it's the little details like that people really remember you for, I think.
I had that with one of my customers when I come back from Spain. I ended up breaking I was doing the front and the rear, the front block paved drive and the rear patio, and there was no side entrance, so I had to feed the hoses through their kind of like annex bit. And I had a load of like old vases and everything in there. I smashed one of them, and when I was rinsing down, I'd smashed a mug that I'd left on the windowsill.
Oh.
I was rinsing down the windows and just jetted it and just thought it smashed everywhere. And it had a J on it, and I thought, oh my God, I broke his favourite mug. And I had to tell him, I was like, he opened the door and I was holding this mug. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't be silly. It's an old mug. I was like, I'm so sorry, I broke your mug.
That was 2 things in one job that you broke.
2 things in one job, yeah.
Oh, mate.
But they were okay. I've done a good job. There we go. They were happy. So they've done a crap job. They'd be on to me.
Yeah. I found something. Well, I saw something on the page, on the pressure washing page the other day, which I'm seeing more often for some reason at the moment. And it's people breaking these, like, breaking windows with surface cleaners. And it seems like, I'm sure I've seen like 3 or 4 of these over the last month or so.
I saw one the other day. Might be the same one.
Yeah. But it's like, it's usually people running their surface cleaner over a stone. I mean, there's slate chippings on the floor there, which, you know, if you get one of those caught underneath the surface cleaner, it'll just ping out and, shatter the glass. And I can't imagine how much these cost to replace, but it's not cheap, is it? One of these glass panels.
No. I think on the some of the comments they might have mentioned, I think like 500-600 quid, or I don't know if that was to go through their insurance or whatever.
Couldn't get any locally. Client went through their insurance and it cost 350 quid.
350. Oh, that's through the insurance.
Yeah.
Smashing job, that, mate.
Luckily, I've not had anything crazy happen like that just yet. I'm trying to think of like the worst thing that's happened on a job, other than me pissing myself. You ever pissed yourself on a job?
No, but I've gone to a job and I started at like 9:30, dying for a piss, and then I like hold it on till like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And, like, it just goes. I don't know where it goes, but it just goes. I think as soon as I've got my music on, I'm going at it. I just completely forget. And you should have breaks, but I don't really have breaks.
I don't have breaks either. Now that I've got Jakey, I do, because I have to.
Yeah. Got to get back to all them messages, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. So when he's doing something, I can step back occasionally and just catch up, which is nice. I'm trying to think of the worst thing that I've done. I mean, I broke a couple of pots, but they were on their way out anyway. You know, the pots that are just falling apart already. You can see there's already cracks in them. You pick them up and they just fall apart in your hand. What else? I don't think anything crazy's happened. That's not very interesting, is it?
I was expecting a great story here.
No, I haven't got one. I'm going to jinx myself now. Something bad's going to... I mean, no, the worst thing that's happened is I've had a couple of sealing jobs that have gone wrong that have been expensive to fix, but I fixed them. You know. Which reminds me, my chapping sprayer's working again. I went out in the garden to test it today because I'm going to order a new pipe for my chapping sprayer, because last winter I left a load of sealer in it before the end of the year. I left it full of sealer, and all the flexible high pressure pipe had all dried with sealer inside it. So I was trying to clean it out with xylene and stuff, and it was just not working. It was kind of sort of splooging out in just drips, and it took days for it to, like, I was having to pump it up and then leave it for a couple of days for it to slowly make its way through. But it's finally cleared, and so I put a new nozzle on it, and I'm ready for I'm quite excited for a ceiling job on Wednesday morning now. But it's going to be a good week because we've got a fairly chunky tarmac ceiling job on Wednesday afternoon, and then a block paving ceiling job on Wednesday morning. And I feel prepared, and the weather's going to be good. The weather's on our side. I'm just quite excited about it. See if I can find a picture.
What are you using? What seal are you using for that?
So for this one, that's the picture of it. So this is the guy I did the swimming pool for. I don't know if you can see the stream at the moment, Rich, but
is it the Indian sandstone one? Is it?
Yeah. He had a swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
Swimming pool surrounded by Indian sandstone.
Yeah, nice.
But someone's done some work on his drive, and they've scratched it. I think with one of their trailers or something that they've parked on it. It's left like big scratch marks all the way down the drive, and I'm sure you could potentially just wash that and they might come out. But I showed him some before and after pictures of some of the ceiling work I've done, and he went, "Yeah, just book it in." I was like, "You haven't even got a price yet." He went, "It doesn't matter, just book it in." I was like, "Okay, I'm going to send you a price first just to make sure."
That'll look nice, won't it? That'll look very nice sealed.
Yeah, but it's like 840 quid's worth of tarmac sealer. And this time I've gone with the smartseal stuff just because their delivery was a little bit more reasonable than other suppliers. And if you set up as a trade customer on the smartseal website, you get a fairly significant discount. This is you are
75. Free delivery over £75.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not though. If you want next day delivery, which I think I had, it was like 35 quid, but I had ordered 7 20 litre tubs plus some other bits and bobs. But I've used this stuff in the past. It's the tarmac stuff, and it's really good. It's like really thick, and yeah.
I'd quite like to do. I haven't. I did quote one about 2-3 weeks ago, but again that was a big one. I think it was about 240 square meters of tarmac drive that they were looking to get sealed as well, and they're holding off I think till next year. But I'd like to jump on one of them just to see how it is.
What are you doing on Friday?
Maybe a small one. Friday, I am in Polton's Park.
What is that? Something to do with football?
Peppa Pig's World.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Sorry. It sounds like a football ground.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Polton's Park. Everyone knows it's Peppa Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to Peppa Pig, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Going down there Wednesday afternoon, and then I think we're travelling back Friday night. We were going to try and stop somewhere Friday night, but then we're just going to get back.
Yeah.
Right. Is that what you've got on Friday, is it?
Yeah, well, we're cleaning it on Wednesday, and then we're hoping to seal it on Friday. But yeah, with a job like that, I think people are mainly put off by the cost of the materials because, I mean, let's just say the one that we've quoted, I'm just on the tool now, the one that we've quoted is 172 quid. 172 square meters. Base price, I think I did something like £3.50 to clean. This is just tarmac, so it's just a clean, no chemicals, and then to seal. So add sealing. Let's just quickly work this out now, just because I'm interested. Because you were pricing one up the other day as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I've got that, the Indian sandstone one, the one that had all the loose slabs.
Oh, yeah.
So they're getting sorted, and then I've got to go and repoint it. Yeah. And then I'm going to see it. So, yeah. I've sent them over. I've sent them over the 3 options. I think it's the screw fix, pure seal, and then there's one that they got recommended, but it was like I think it was like 75 quid for like 5 litres of it.
Was that the
That's the one.
ever build?
Is it?
Everlast?
Yeah, let's have a look. See if I've still got it open. I said to him, I said, what you've been recommended is very expensive, but you know, it's completely up to you what they want to use. So I think the screw fix one was only about 23 quid, I think, for 5 litres.
Yeah, I think it's Everest, isn't it? That's
Yeah, it's something
really expensive stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This sealer's coming out cheaper than. If I type that in right, a 20-litre tub is 120 quid. Divided by 20 is sealer coverage. Have I got the coverage wrong? 20-litre drum coverage is 40 to 60 square meters. Let's go 50 divided by 20-litre drum, 2.5. That's where I've gone wrong. Coverage is 2.5 per square meter. That's more like it. There we go. 828 is the cost of the sealer. And then I've added my labour on there. And this is just for me and Jakey to spend the morning rolling the sealer on. So we've already cleaned it at this point. So I think the total cost is roughly about £10 per square metre there for the tarmac sealing. And it tells you roughly how much sealer you're going to need. So about 140 litres is what I've ordered. This is quite thick stuff, and the tarmac, the job that we're doing, the tarmac's in really good condition. It's not that very porous, textured, thick. It's not like that. It's like a super thin, nice, smooth surface, so it shouldn't actually take as much sealer as I've ordered, but we'll see. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Yeah, transform it. Are you sealing the back of it, or is it they're not sealing the sandstone, are you?
No, he's on about having us come back in the winter to or towards the end of the year when I'm a bit quieter, to repoint it like traditionally. But I've watched some videos and stuff, and I've done loads of repointing with jointing compound, but he said I don't really want that. But I've been approached by, who were we talking about last week? What was the name of the business? It was Poly.
Oh, is this the Titan stuff?
Nexus, that's it. Yeah, it's the resin stuff that you mix. So I might try and convince him to have that one, because I think that one would be potentially a little bit less work, and it's much harder than the jointing compound. I'm looking at the wrong stuff here. Nexus. I can't remember which one it was. Is it not the Fusion? The Titan. That's what you said, wasn't it? Titan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Titan. Yeah.
Suitable for vehicles up to 10 tons. So this would probably be better than jointing compound, but it's like the same sort of stuff. You just mix it on site instead of it coming pre-mixed.
Yeah. Did you work out the costing difference between that and the jointed compound?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I don't know if there's any suppliers local to me. Let's have a look.
It looks very satisfying the way they pour that down.
Yeah. Have you got any big jobs coming up? Have you got any good ones?
Just got to finish off that repointing one. We've got the mini job coming up, haven't we?
Oh, can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that'll be a big one.
So
should be fun.
Richard used to work for Sitner, sorry. And that's BMW Mini, is it?
Yeah, started off at BMW, done about 9 months there, and then moved over to Mini. over in Albury way.
And is it the same branch that you worked at that have approached you about their car park?
No, it's a different branch. It's the Wolverhampton branch, but they've. I used to work with him. I used to work with the manager, so he's took over it, and he's basically been given the go ahead to spruce up the place and everything. So they've started off with the interior, just gutting the place, and now they're moving out onto the pitch. So Mini and Motorrad, they kind of like share their same pitch. That is 735 square meters, I think it is. 735
of block paving.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 90% of it, 95% of it's block paving. There might be like a few slabbed areas, but majority of it's block paving. So we're going to do that, and then we've got we're going to hear back from BMW after that, and then that's the big one. So if we do a good job,
I mean,
they should have us.
Mini is a big one. I think the price that you've put in for that job is, I think that's more than I've charged for any of my jobs in the last 3 years. And you've been going since, did you say April? And,
Yeah.
And you've already landed a massive commercial job like that, which is insane. And then not only that, but we're jumping on it together basically. But if we do a good job on that mini site, we're then going to get the BMW one as well, which is how much bigger?
It's about 3,000 square meters. So it's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
Did you say you've got them to hire a skip?
Yeah, they're going to hire a skip for us.
That'd
So
be
I think
ideal.
they might have a few more bits that they need to chuck out. I said, between you leave the rubbish with you. If you've got anywhere we can put them up, we can dump it there. But I said, ideally, if you get a skip, straighten the skip and then it's gone. So they're going to hire a skip for us as well.
Nice.
So that'd be nice.
We'll have to stock up on those screw fix bags.
Yeah.
I put a video in the Discord the other day. I can't remember where I've put it, but let me see if I can quickly find it, because it just shows the how effective they are at draining the water. Oh no!
I've only ever used them when I've been on a job with you.
Yeah.
I've never used them myself, but I really need to get them, because at the moment I'm just trying to sweep all the muck to one side, let it drain, and then rinse down after that. But obviously, you don't want to rinse down too quick because you'll end up just getting it all mucky again. So it'll speed up the job if I get some, to be honest. And they're just draining the bag.
I've found it. Have a look at this. So, for those that haven't seen these, you just fill the bag with all your sludge and waste at the end of the job. And I hadn't thought about it before. I would just fill the bag and just sort of sit it on the side of the patio or sit it over the drain and let it drain out. But then I had this idea to just stand on it, and it just pushes all the moisture out. It does a fantastic job, and you just get left with a dry clump of muck.
You leave that with the customer then, don't you?
Yeah, what have you been doing? Because I've never there's been one or two occasions where I've taken waste away with me, but I shouldn't have, because I don't have a waste carrier's license, and I don't want it in the van.
No.
It stinks, it's wet, and I've got nowhere to put it when I get home, so I can't take my van to the tip without a special permit, and so it just ends up sort of sitting on the drive until I can find some space in the bin.
Yeah. I've never taken it away. I will, 9 times out of 10 it goes in the garden waste bin.
In theirs?
After it's been carried.
Yes.
A couple of times I've had people say they've got a lot of space at the back of the garden that they don't use, so any muck, just carry it through there. Yeah, that's it really.
Just plant borders, compost piles, garden waste bins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you... Go on.
I'm going to get some of them bags though.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be cool. Because then people that just say, I'll just leave them to the side, that's perfect for it.
Yep.
Because like people like asking if I'm going to leave my bucket and everything, and I'm just like, well, no, I've got to take it with me.
Cost me £4, that did.
Bloody £4 that I could get some bags for that. Put it in a bag for life for them.
Those Screwfix bags are about £5 for £5, I think. But yeah, you can either just leave the bag with the customer because it's only £1, or because sometimes they're going to just put it in the boot and take it to the tip themselves. So they could like wrap a bin line around it just to make sure there's no more stuff coming out of it. Like Paul says, they are reusable as well, so you can just empty them out. I tend to empty them out into the garden waste bin, because you'll be surprised at how, if you're just scooping wet muck into the garden waste bin, that waste bin gets real heavy real quick. And so if you're then leaving that for the customer to deal with afterwards, they're going to have to try and cart that round next time it needs emptying in, and it's not a good look for you. So drain out all the moisture you can, and then when the bag's empty, just pressure wash it, just run the pressure washer over it. And because if you try and fill that bag up again with more muck, all of the pores of the woven polypropylene, they won't drain as well because they're all blocked. So you need to make sure you actually wash it. Yeah. Smelty's top tip.
That's a good tip. I did have one customer, I put it all in the bin. It was an old boy, in his 90s, he was old. Very good though for his age. But I started piling it up, drained, of course, started piling it up in the brown bin. And I was moving, I was like, it's going to be too heavy. So I got him out to double check, and he said that's going to be too heavy. So I had to tip the bin on its side, scoop it all out, and shovel it around the back of his garage instead. So they do get heavy quick.
Yeah, they do. You can buy bulk bags for £100 for 50 quid, 100 for 50 quid with delivery included. Yeah, Ryan from Curbside Cleaning said the same. He said buy them all at once and you get a massive saving on them, but I'm not that proactive.
I think I lost you there a bit.
Yeah, I lost you a little bit for a sec.
Yeah, I think the internet playing a bit.
What was I going to say? So you've not had anyone complain about the waste yet?
No.
Do you set their expectations early? Do you let them know that you're going to leave it with them?
Yeah, on the quotes that I send out, I'll tell them any moss, weeds, muck, anything like that will be bagged up, left with them, unless there's a place that they want me to put it. If they want me to put it straight in the garden waste bin, I can do that. So they know it, and then when I get there as well, before I start, sometimes I forget and I'm not going halfway through when I'm clearing up. But I've started getting into the habit before I start. Where do you want the waste?
Yeah.
But I think as long as you're clear and you tell them tell them in the quote as well, so they know as much as they need to, everything that they need to possibly know in that quote.
Yeah.
And if there is any, you shouldn't do, but if there is any confusion or anything in leading up to it, and you do get that one, a customer that starts kicking off, you can say, listen, I have obviously quoted you, leaving everything here. And then you can go down the legal side of things about the carrying the waste with you as well. It's, don't want to do anything naughty, do we?
I think I'd like to, when it gets a bit quiet, I'd like to sit down and write a terms and conditions for each service that I provide. So like gutter clearing, I want to let people know that, because I don't know if there's ever any confusion when I'm taking these before and after pictures of the gutters. There's still like a fine layer of dust left on the bottom of the gutter, for example, and I'm not sure if people are expecting them to be spanking clean. Like they're clearly like clear and free flowing, but are they expecting me to go in there and scrub them? I don't know. So I sort of want to make that clear. When it comes to block paving, like I want to explain that there's no sort of weed-free guarantee. The weeds will come back, and it's up to you to then maintain your driveway once it's been cleaned. Little things like that I want to, each service that I'm offering, I want to send them a PDF. These are the terms and conditions. This is what you can expect from my level of service. That's what you're getting for your money. Do you want to proceed, sort of thing? I think that would be worth doing, especially getting into like having Jakey with me and potentially sending him out on jobs on his own and stuff. I don't want him to get into any awkward conversations with customers where I could have prevented that by just sending them a bunch of terms and conditions sort of thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, to be honest. I think from a professional image point of view as well, the customer knows they've gone with someone who is clearly on it.
Yeah.
And even before you do the job, they're going to say, well, you know, if they're writing terms and conditions and everything and sending over a professional quote and they've got all them professional before and afters, they know they're with the right person.
Yeah. Someone else said that. Go on.
I do mention to them on the block paving side of things, I say there's nothing that's going to stop the weeds coming back. They can pop up whenever they want. Best thing to do, just get some weed killer on them. As soon as you see a weed killer, and then get rid of it. It could be, you know, 6 months before you see a weed come through. It could be 6 weeks, could be 6 days. You just don't know. But just cover yourself as much as you can with it.
Yeah, and that's really important when it comes to sealing as well. People say, I want you to price to seal the driveway to stop the weeds. And I immediately say, sealing is not going to stop the weeds. It's going to solidify the sand, which will help slow the weeds down, but you're never going to stop them completely. So I don't want you coming back to me in 6 months to say I've had a weed pop up, but you sealed my drive, so I want it done again for free because you said it. You know, you don't want to leave yourself open to that sort of stuff. So it's all about setting the customer's expectations at the end of the day. How are you getting on with your I feel kind of bad that I pointed you towards the foam cannon.
Yeah.
From Rutland Pumps. Is it working for you?
It does everything I need to. The only thing I would say is the adjusting the angle. That would be a nice addition to have.
You don't have the adjustment like you do on the XJet?
No, because I think, is it the O-ring? I think that's just popped out of my my ridge down lance. So what it's called? Yeah, I don't know if I've just made that up now. It sounds a bit...
Yeah, from the end of your lance?
Yeah, it feels, you know, the quick release?
Yeah.
I put one of the 40 degree nozzle in, and I didn't click it in properly. So I tested it, shot out, and I think it shot something else out with it, because when I was plugging it back in, it was just spraying everywhere.
Yeah, the O-rings flew out then.
Yeah, so I don't know if I mean, can I just order one and is it an
easy fix? You can get a pack of O-rings from Screwfix. I don't know which size it is for the end of your, for that little 1/4 inch quick release, but yeah, you just slot a new O-ring in there and it'll be as good as new.
Oh yeah, because that's the only thing I need. It's the only thing, touch wood, that's broke while I've been out at the moment. So that's when obviously the XJet would have been very good, because you can obviously adjust the nozzle,
the spread,
to help with any rinse downs. Yeah. So
have you seen?
It does everything I need. So it works great, and it saves me so much time on the jobs that I'm doing.
Have you seen what Rutland Pumps have just put out?
Is it very similar to the XJet?
Yeah.
What's that called again? Is that the?
It's the ProJet.
ProJet. The Pro Foam was from Rutland Pumps, wasn't it? The Pro Foam.
Yeah. So I don't know if they've discontinued the Pro Foam.
This could be a replacement for it.
In replacement for this instead, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one also comes with the trigger as well, so it's not just the little XJet thing. I wonder if they've still got the Pro Foam proportioner. They have. Yeah, you can still buy the Pro Foam, but you don't get the trigger with it. It's 180 quid plus VAT, whereas the XJet, ProJet with the trigger is 20 quid more plus VAT.
Does that have the adjustable fan as well?
Yes.
Oh, it does as well.
Yeah. So I feel a bit bad that I sort of pointed you in the direction of the Pro Foam when this came out literally like a month later. But I didn't actually know that. I didn't know that the nozzle wasn't adjustable. So
no, it's good to have got them, because to be honest, it does what I need it to do. I've got a lance with the different fan sizes to help with rinse downs. So yeah, it does everything, and it's. I would imagine it's very similar to your X-Jet in terms of trying to get the revs down on the machine and the unloader valve, and trying to work out the best kind of like pressure for it to work. Because I've had it sometimes where I've had the unloader valve probably too high, and I haven't had as much control with it. But in the early days, I mean, now I've got used to how it feels and how it spreads. It's not a problem at all, and it does exactly what I need. And
Well,
it still rinses down, but it's got that kind of like, well, it's in the name. It's like a foamy kind of like spray to it.
yeah, it's thicker.
There's no like solid stream. Yeah, it's a lot thicker and a lot more spread out.
Yeah.
So it does still rinse down, but not compared to if you've used an X-Jet, not compared to that.
Yeah, I think it's like higher flow, isn't it? There's more water coming out than there would be if it was like a finer concentrated mist from the X-Jet.
Yeah.
What was I just going to say? Oh yeah, Jakey's new machine. We don't even have an unloader valve on that. It's a fixed unloader. I think it's like a K series unloader or something. So you can't actually adjust the pressure. We only adjust the revs on Jakey's machine, and in turn that reduces pressure and flow. So you might want to try that. Are you fiddling with the unloader valve and the revs to try and get it perfect?
Yeah. I'll try and keep the unloader valve. I'll keep that quite high all the time, to be honest. Especially when I'm turboing or anything like that. It's always full, and then I'll just adjust the revs. The only time I ever really turn the unloader valve down is when I use the Profone.
Yeah. What we've been finding really useful is when we're doing like borders, or when we don't, when you get to a corner, and if you're using 200 or 250 bar full revs, you just get absolutely soaked. What we've been doing is turning the revs down, going around with the turbo nozzle around the whole perimeter, and just cutting in with a low pressure turbo. Well, there's no such thing as a low pressure turbo, but lower than normal. And then doing the rest of the drive on full whack. We get much more control doing that, and we don't get absolutely plastered at the start of the job.
Yeah.
You might want to try that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I'm completely honest with you, I have it on like full whack, and I'll just go straight in. And yeah, some of the customers are like, bloody hell. That's all they do, and I'm like, I'm eating it.
Yeah, it's in my eyes, up my nose, it's in my teeth.
I'm wearing my glasses, I'm wearing my headphones, I've still got it in my ears, I've still got it in my eyes. I've got a chewing gum full of grit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. It makes it look like you're working harder.
Yeah. It was only when I got my needle valve and my pressure gauge on my machine that I started actually paying attention to the pressure and actually like adjusting stuff and turning the pressure down when I didn't need full whack. And it's made such a difference to how clean I can stay and how much control I've got in these jobs. Really does.
I would love the pressure gauge and the needle valve. It's so much easier.
You could get. I think you could get a pressure gauge on yours.
Yeah, I think I can. I don't know if I'm gonna just sort the van out, arrange it properly, so I've got a bit more space, and then I'm thinking run that machine into the ground and just keep it going until it dies on me, and then just getting an upgraded machine.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's been 3 months now. I've been using it, 2-3 times a week. Some weeks maybe more. Fingers crossed I've had no issues with it. It's been running very well.
That's good to hear, because it's always nerve-wracking selling something that's been used, that's been like, because my machine was fairly heavily used when I sold it to you, but I'd done all the bits to make sure it was going to last and that it was functional, because I knew there was some issues. There's some issues with the design of that machine from factory. But since I had the new unloader fitted and the return to tank and all that sort of stuff, that's fully resolved that issue now. And so I was confident in selling it to you that I knew it was going to at least get you through enough jobs where you could save for a potential bigger upgrade. But the fact that it's lasted you this long and you're doing so much work with it, and I mean, the cost of that machine is probably paid for itself like 10 or 15 times over now, surely.
Yeah, I mean, what that with you using it as well?
No, just for you. Just
Yes. I haven't done the maths. How much? What was about I think it was about 400 quid, wasn't it? You
yeah,
sold it me for
yeah.
400 quid. Yeah, it's got to be 20, 30 times over. So yeah,
That's impressive for like a used machine, for a cheap used machine. I think that's quite impressive.
yeah. I've touch wood, no issues with it. So I'm happy. No issues with the van as well. The van's been great. So
What would you be? What are you looking to? Are you saving up for like an upgrade then? Are you going to go for like a van mounted system or something?
I'm thinking about just getting is it the Skid X? So take it out of the frame, pop it on a Skid X. We're looking maybe to, because I've got 250 litre tank at the moment,
Yeah.
but it's not the right one. I think what we're looking to try and do is get the machine on the Skid X and put it so it's facing outside the side door.
Yep.
Getting a buffer tank in the van, about 210 litres, but higher as opposed to the width, so we can fit that there. The tank still how it is at the moment, and then just sorting out a hose reel, trying to work out where to put a hose reel. But that should then theoretically open up the whole of the back, so the double doors to then like a nice square space for storage for chemicals and whatever I need. That's the idea, and I think it's going to be very, very close in terms of, you know, fitting all that so it goes out the side door. But again, I'd probably say maybe a month or so.
Really?
Look at getting a month, 2 months.
You might find that the tower tank, the 250 litre tower one from PWS that I've changed to, you might be able to fit that in the same place that it's in now, and still put your machine on a Skid X on the side door, because this is slightly skinnier than the tank that you've got.
Yeah. Well, I went to PWS and we were talking over it with Darren, and I don't know if we must have measured that one out, and I think it may have been just too high.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the one at the moment, I'm not sure how high that is in comparison, but I mean that's pretty much above my head as I'm driving.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
If there's any, you know, if I've got a fairly full buffer tank in there, I can hear it. So I think that may just be a bit too high.
Yeah.
And I think we were looking at an alternative of 210 litre, and I think that fit quite nice, because I believe it was also slightly narrower.
Yeah, and getting like a slightly squarer tank, taller, you're going to save so much room just by getting that machine off of its frame, because those wheels are quite chunky, the frame's quite wide. You're going to save a lot of room doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, and I also might treat myself to a high pressure hose reel, because I know I've been doing the figure of 8 at the moment.
Yeah, the classic, the absolute classic figure of 8 move.
It's satisfying. Now I've got that, and it used to be a pain in the arse just chucking it all in the van, but now I'm just like, get my figure of 8, get all the pressure out.
Yeah,
goes in nicely. I might treat myself to a high pressure hose reel, but again, that's like 300 quid or so, isn't it?
There's so much money. Even the low pressure, the good low pressure hose reels worth getting, they're the same. 300 quid.
Really?
It's crazy money, yeah. But if you buy a cheap one, they don't last, and they wreck your hoses and all sorts.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you getting on with your surface cleaner? You've had that now about a month now, haven't you?
Yeah, good, not a problem. Trying to think of what jobs I've used. I used it on the Indian Sandstone. I had one. I've used it. I'll probably say about 5 or 6 times. I've had no issues with it. It feels, comfortable to use, because I was a bit worried about how it was like balanced out. I don't know if it would come damaged or not, but I think that was just me, and I think it was a bit of uneven flooring in my house.
Oh, really?
So I think it was because I took it apart and I put it down, and it was like slowly rolling in one section of the house. So I've got a bit of uneven floor. So I'm blaming that, but I've had no issues with it. It saved again massive amount of time on some of the jobs,
Yeah.
like loads of time.
You've not attempted it on block paving yet?
Nah, no, tell a lot I did, but literally for 30 seconds, and straight away I thought, I'm just getting the turbo out. Like,
It's not
I
worth
don't
it,
want
is
to be
it?
going over a big area again. Yeah, I don't want to be going over a big area and thinking I've just surface cleaned all this, and then I'm spotting like moss everywhere. Just not worth it.
Yeah. How you doing for time?
My battery's probably going to die before time.
Okay.
I'm on 15% battery, so
All right.
a couple of minutes.
All right.
As long as that's all good with you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Long as you like, mate. Are you still having to come over to Bromsgrove to get your hypo?
Yeah, mate, it's the cheapest. Round me, I think for a 25 litre tub, you're looking at 45 quid. Like, and I'm like, I'd rather travel over and just buy in bulk.
Yeah.
Like, if I go there, when I say bulk, I might get like 4 or 5 each time, just to stock up. Because again, I'm still trying to like make it go as far as I can. Mixing the chemicals myself as well, because I've got like my little proportioner that fell apart. The 5-to-1, so I put a 2.5-to-1 in.
Oh, really?
And I'm just mixing the rest of it up.
I was just asking you.
So,
I was just about to ask you about that. Which proportion are you using? So 2.5 to 1. So that's pretty strong then, really.
yeah, but then I'm then mixing the hypo in a spare barrel.
Ah.
2-to-1.
So you're pre-diluting it by half, and then you're running it through a 2.5 proportioner.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my. That's what. Yeah, that's what I do with my hypo with my biocide. So I don't have to keep changing the proportioners every 5 minutes. I get a 20-litre barrel. I do 1 part biocide to 10 parts water. So it's a 1-to-10 ratio, and then I dilute it through the X-Jet at 1-to-3, so it's 1-to-30 when it comes out the end. I mean, you never know what it's coming out at exactly, but you can get a rough idea.
Yeah, but I did notice, because on a couple of jobs before I've like pre-mixed it myself, I was just using the 2.5-to-1, and some of the jobs I have, they're quite big, so that'd get through like a 25-litre hyper very quick.
Yeah, you do some chunky driveways. You do.
Yeah, they are the frigging hard work, but it's good. I like it, and that's, as I've said, that's what I'm trying to target. So it's.
Would you say that it's harder than you expected when you first started?
Yeah.
The whole job itself.
Yeah, it's a lot more time consuming, but I think that's because being on the jobs with yourself, I've seen what a thorough job you do, mainly with the clear up, because I feel that I can get through, say 150 square meter block paving. I feel I can get through that fairly quick. I'd like to say half a day, but then I'll spend half a day clearing up.
Yeah.
So I think I'm a bit OCD with it, not wanting it to have any mess anywhere, which I think is a good thing, but at the same time, it adds quite a bit of time on.
That's what you get remembered for, is whether you rinse down the windows, the downpipes on the gutter, whether you clean the bins afterwards when they all got splashed, whether you've asked the neighbour if they want to move their car before you start work, like all those little things. You might do a great job on the drive, but it's all the little things that they actually remember you for. And when they think about calling you next year, it's like, well, do you remember all that mess you left on the window? I don't really want that again. And they don't care how good of a job you did. It's the clear up that matters. And that is the bit that takes equally amount, sometimes on some jobs, it's like you say, it's the same amount of time as it took you to actually do the job itself.
Yeah. One I've done a couple of days back, it was a double. It was like a double one there. Well, they had the front and rear done, but it was like about 100 square meters of Indian sandstone, which I'd used the surface clean on. Flew through that no problem. There was 180 square metre block paving, and the clear up was just unbelievable. Like, I remember Christy drove past because it was only around the corner. Christy drove past and I said, I'll be done by like 3 o'clock, and it was like 6, and I was still going. And I just said, guys, I was like, I'm broke, man. Like, there's so much clear up. I'm nearly done now, but that was like 3 hours extra clearing up that I didn't really think I would be doing.
But what a feeling to get home, jump in the shower, and get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a good feeling.
My favourite part.
What's your worst job?
The worst job?
What's your worst type of job that you've had to do? I mean, are you just pressure washing, but you're repointing as well? Like, is there anything else that you've dabbled in that you think, no, I don't fancy that? So I've been talking through this with Jakey, and I think the conservatory cleaning is difficult. Gutters, faces, and soffits are difficult. Can't remember what he said his worst one was.
I think I'll enjoy that. The gutters, fascias, soffits. I know it's hard work, but I think I will. When you get into the swing of things, I think I will find it okay. I feel like that with the positioning and everything, it's very hard on the shoulders, and I think it feels more grafty than pressure washing.
Yeah, I think
it's not.
I'm going to have a bit of a shock when I upgrade my water-fed pole eventually, because I've got probably the cheapest one you can get, and it's so wobbly and flimsy. I think when I get a nice big stiff pole, and you can actually put it where you want it, rather than having to sort of fight it the whole time, and your ribs and your hips, and you're just trying to sort of, when you can point it where you want it, and you can just clean that bit without crazy amounts of effort, and it's lighter, I reckon that could change everything for me, but I don't know yet.
Are you going to get the one of the carbon fibre ones? Because what have you got at the moment?
I've got
a couple of weeks curbside cleaning on, didn't you?
I've got a carbon composite. It's like fiberglass and carbon fibre composite. It's the CLX22. Tracy says my best investment was a nano pole. Matt says my next pole will be an over 8. It's a game changer. Don't say that. Yeah, I think I think in this industry, I really do think you get what you pay for. And if you buy cheap, you buy twice. And the cost really does reflect the quality in most stuff, which I've learnt the hard way, because I've tried to cut corners on everything I've done. And you just can't do it in this game, really. See you, Luca. Thanks for stopping in. Luca's starting his own business, by the way. He's starting his lawn mowing business. He's saving up. He's got his money here. He's saving up 50. He's got 57 quid that he's saving for his first battery-powered lawnmower. I've just bought him some gloves, and he's got these shears because he's struggling with the edges. So instead of getting him a strimmer at the moment, he's just going to go around the edges with this. And he's done our garden, and he's really keen. I thought he'd get bored of the idea, but he's 2 or 3 months on, and he's still talking about, when am I getting my lawnmower, sort of thing. And so he's gonna.
You'll have to bring him over, and he can do ours for us. We'll look after it.
That'd be good.
He's second customer.
He's even been using the Moja. I said, how much are you going to charge me for the front? And he said, let me borrow the Moja and I'll work it out for you. He's going to do 50p per square metre. And he's learnt how to go around and dab it down and times it by 50p.
Oh.
It's great.
That's so good. How old is he? Is he
9?
He's 10. 9. That's so good, man.
It's a bit nerve-wracking knowing that he's going to be pushing a lawnmower around that's got a spinning blade going under 100 mile an hour underneath, but as long as I'm with him, it's better than having the cables dragging behind him, so a battery-powered one's going to be better for him, I think. Yeah.
That'd be good for him.
Yeah. Shall I let you get off, mate?
What are we on? 7%, mate. I think we best call it before it dies.
All right.
No, I appreciate it, buddy. I'll drop you a message. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
I want to organise a camping trip soon, a boys' camping trip. Do you think you'd be down? Could you get a couple of nights away?
Camping?
Yeah.
In a tent?
I don't know. It might be a log cabin. It might be a tent. I'm not sure.
Log cabin? A bit of glamping, yeah.
Glamping?
Yeah, I'm a bit sassy when it comes to things like that.
I tried it with the kids, a newborn Maya, a dog, Luca, an airbed that went down, so I ended up sleeping on the floor, on the rock hard cold floor at 2 o'clock in the morning. Mate, it ruined camping for me, and I'm never doing it again like that.
It's the light as well. Like, if the light's beaming through at like 4 o'clock, like, I need like blackout blinds, blackout tent, temper mattress. Then maybe I'll do it.
You reckon you can get a couple of nights away with me, glamping? We'll get the boys.
Yeah, man.
All right. Good to speak to you, mate.
Yeah, legend. Nice one. I'll speak to you soon. All right.
See you in a bit.
See you later, buddy. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That was fun, wasn't it? I love Rich. He's lovely. Right, guys, I am back. I'm sorry if I've missed your messages. I've been chatting to my boy. Where's the best place to get my 10 meter of high pressure hose for my Honda GX390? Whereabouts in the country are you, mate? You could go to PWS, and you could look at their HP. Alpha HP hose. You're in Bedford. Where's Bedford? Oh, you're sort of in the middle, aren't you? You might be better off just ordering it online, mate. You could go Alpha HP. If you want to have a look on smelt.club, I've got my trusted suppliers here. So you've got Rutland Pumps, AC Pressure Washers, PWS, Pressure Washer Sales and Service. Those 4 people will be able to help you out. Rich is a top guy. He absolutely is. What connections do you use to input your pressure washer hose? Hello, girly. I use big boy chunky ones, and I forgot what they're called. You had dinner? Lovely. There's something 45 fittings. Darren on the Discord mentioned them the other day. I'm going to try and find them for you. ST45, thank you, mate. I knew it had a 45 in it. It's specifically the ones with the blue collar. These are the chunky ones. They're not the same as the MIDI fittings. It's these ones, look. They've got triple O-rings in them. So you're not going to be blowing through Nilfisk, is it? You're not going to be blowing through O-rings every month like I did with the standard MIDI fittings. But I got these from PWSAS. These guys. They fitted all my hoses. So all of their kits that they sell, they come with these big juicy fittings. Look. Is that your alarm, Soph? Yeah. I don't know what's going on with your car at the moment. The alarm's constantly going off every time I lock it. So you can see the end of these hoses. They've got all the big chunky boy fittings on them. 250 bar max, is it? Yeah, these are quite chunky fittings. They're probably a little bit overkill if you're only doing little jobs. To be honest with you. Hey, girly. You happy? You want to say hello to everyone? No? Okay. What are you sad?
Because I can't get my my nightie on myself.
You can grab it though, can't you?
Yeah, and you can put it on.
You don't want to put it on in here because people will see your body. Is this your dragon? There you go.
Can you help me put my dress on?
Yes. I'll come to you though. You stay in your bedroom, okay? I think I'm gonna have just a 5-minute break, everyone, if that's okay. I'm just gonna. Sophie's alarm's going off again.
What am I meant to do?
Leave it open for a bit. I think it might be either the rain or the wind or the. Have you parked too far in the bush?
No, nowhere near it.
Oh. Go help the girl. Yeah, I will. It's done. Oh, Matt has finished the surface guide. So we are just. This is a brand new, never before seen surface cleaning guide. Ooh. And it's in the Discord for all Discord members to use. Down here. And all these categories now, all these surfaces, it's still a work in progress. But it's a comprehensive guide to identifying and cleaning all these different surfaces. Or at least how I would advise that you clean them. So all of you Discord members, if you're struggling to figure out what's what, have a little peek in here. This is still being worked on, but Matt has kindly. I think I started working on this probably over 6 months ago, but sort of ran out of steam a little bit and got quite busy. But Matt has been working hard to format this for us, and just goes through the pros and cons of actually cleaning each surface, things to look out for, and do's and don'ts, basically. But yeah, how good is that? We've still got stuff to add. Bear with me just a second. I need to just quickly adjust this advert because I've moved everything onto my hard drive now, so this advert is no longer anywhere to be seen. I was going to play a little ad. Adverts, members advert. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort. Right guys, I'm just going to have a little 2-minute break and then I'll be back, alright? See you in a minute. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels, we've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have 2 other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go. New videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching, back to the video. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. I've got something to show you lot. If I said it's something I've been working on, I'd be lying. It's something I worked on a while back. And I sort of ran out of steam for it. Have a little sticky beak at this. I'm trying not to mess my camera up because it disconnected earlier when I moved it. So this is a soft washing pump. A lot of you probably recognise it from the DA Components website because it's the Everflow EF1000. So this is what they advertise as like a replacement pump for your gardener backpack, and it's slightly higher litres per minute, so it's 3.8 litres per minute instead of 2.6, I believe, or 2.4. I'm not sure. So it pushes out a little bit more water, and it's a chemically resistant pump. And to be honest, I'm not totally sure whether it's resistant to like all corrosive chemicals or just some. But it says on the website, chemical pump. So I'm assuming it's okay for hypo, it's okay for biocide, probably TFR, that sort of stuff. And I've had a go. This is like my first little wiring project. So I've had a go. I've literally just bought all the components separately that I thought I needed. This is why I was looking at. Some of you guys saw that trolley that I was making in that 3D modeling software, because I wanted to turn this into some sort of soft washing trolley. So I've got a 12 volt 7 amp hour battery, and this is just from a local farm shop. The pump is rated at 4 amp hours, 12 volt 4 amp, so that'll do slightly more than what this requires, but that's fine, I believe. Again, I'm no electrician, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just sort of having to play around. It comes with like an inline fuse, so the pump is sold with this inline fuse, and then that's all going into a speed controller. I've also wired in a battery capacity meter, so you can see how much battery you've got left. So if we turn it on, I'm just going to turn it off for a sec. But the battery does sort of float around a little bit, but you can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera there, it's saying 94% battery, 93. It's sort of changing ever so slightly. I don't know whether that's something I've done or whether that is just because it's kind of at idle at the moment. It's still drawing current, there's still things happening, but the pump isn't turned on, so not quite sure what's going on there, but it is an accurate read. We've got a charging port that I also bought separately, and this is the same connector that charges my gardener backpack, so I can plug the same thing in there. And this is basically just like a soft washing pump, so what I'm wanting to do, I'd plan to sort of box this up and just insert this into like a black box and have a hose coming out of it. So if you click the button, it starts the pump, and now on here you can adjust the speed of the pump. And turn it off. So I've been struggling to find like a case for this. Like I'm not sure if I need a waterproof case necessarily, but I just want like a nice case where I can stick everything down inside. And it's going to be very similar to like a gardener backpack, where you literally just plug your hose or plug a connector or a sprayer or whatever you need to plug into it. It's just going to be a female hose lock coupling. But yeah, I thought for a first attempt All these little fittings are just... does anyone know what these are called? What are these fittings called? Because they're very handy. I can see the name. Someone will know what these are called. They're very handy little fittings. And it means you don't have to like solder everything together. You can just put the wires in there and clip them down. Very useful. Way you go, that's it. Thank you. I knew you'd know. I knew you'd be the first in here to say that. Are you going to sell it? No, I think selling electrical components, especially ones I've wired up myself, could be an absolute minefield in terms of health and safety and the potential of... I don't know. Because I don't really know what I'm talking about, for me to sell a chemical resistant pump, a soft washing setup, I mean, even just plugging it in and charging it, I feel a little bit like, am I going to get electrocuted sort of thing. It's all safe, it's perfectly safe. I've had it on charge and I've used it a couple of times and it's all fine, but it's a different ball game when you're then giving that to someone else. Someone's not only purchasing it from you, but then they're going to use it every day. Absolute game changer. Hello, Chelt. How you doing, mate? It'll be awesome to make a product out of that, because it's a very, very capable little bit of kit, and I could put that together in a smaller package for around about a similar price to what a gardener backpack is, and I think this is better. Depending on what form factor it's in, I think this is better than a gardener backpack, and it's suitable for chemicals, so it's suitable for soft washing. You could use it for pure water. The battery capacity is slightly bigger, and the pump is slightly faster. You've got a speed controller on it, so you've got you can accurately change that, and you can see what battery percentage you're at. So there's a bunch of little modifications that have made it slightly better. Shell, I'm very well, thank you, mate. It's things are very busy, but very well, thank you, mate. How about a DeWalt to stack toolbox as a case? People have used them for dosatron systems. That's exactly the sort of thing that I'm thinking. It's a DeWalt T-stack toolbox. Yeah, so it does need to be something with flat sides. It's surprising how difficult it is to find a case with a lid that has just got like flat sides that is an appropriate size to fit that in. It's on the right track, but it's not. If I was going to sell it, it needs to be like unbranded, so it can't say DeWalt on the top of it. How do you spell polypropylene? Polypropylene case. Potentially something just like that, but that looks cheap and a bit nasty. I've been looking at these cases, these carry cases that you've got like all foam in, and you carry like audio equipment and cameras and stuff in, but they just work out a little bit too expensive. Just something simple. I know there's something simple out there that will do the job really well. Even something like that, like if that was big enough, that would be ideal. But finding one that's the right size is another story. You need a 3D printer. I'd love a 3D printer. Daz, he's too tight to buy a DeWalt case. You're absolutely right there, mate. You are right. The reason that I'd be tight in this situation is to try and keep costs down for the end user. See the enclosure boxes I mentioned? Where did you mention those? Are you in the Discord? No. Enclosure box. Something like this, just a plastic junction box, but the junction boxes are never big enough. Needs to be orange, yeah. You're absolutely right. Something like a waterproof junction box would be ideal. It doesn't even have to be waterproof, but ideally it'd have like a little carry handle on it. Not that this stuff's heavy, but it would be nice. Something like that. There's tight and there's wise use of money. I talk myself out of spending money. Like this monitor, I've justified this monitor because I'm thinking it was 210 quid or something, which is a lot of money for me to spend on a piece of tech. But my thought is, I'm making money from the YouTube. This hard drive was a lot of money. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking the YouTube is paying for me to be able to spend this time doing this stuff, so I want to make my environment comfortable. And the screen that I had before was just crap. It was terrible. It was so old. It was so resolution, such low resolution. And this is just going to be so much nicer to work in front of. And I can see everything. I can see the chat really clearly. Like, this is so much better. And I'm slowly learning. Yeah, I do want to reinvest some of this money back into the content and, you know, better camera equipment, better audio equipment. And that stuff's not cheap, unfortunately. Call it the tight arsatron. The tight arsatron. Smout's box of tricks. I like that as well. Battery box. Ooh, this looks good. That looks sick. That's what I want. It's an RV battery box. This is perfect. Why have I never seen a battery box before? That one's got handles on it. Mate, I've done so much Googling for stuff like this. A plastic ammo box, yeah. Smouty getting tighty box. What are you talking about? Yeah, battery box. Perfect. Because then I can just mount it in there. And then, instead of selling them, I could make a really easy tutorial that other people can follow. So that when the gardener backpacks go out of stock again, people can just build their own. How about that? All you got to do, mate, is ask. I know. Matt's always got the answers. Sick. That's my next little project. Orange. Doesn't need to be that big, but... Oh. Husqvarna battery box. Posh one. That's a really nice one, isn't it? 52 euros. Is it worth it? And I'm thinking, how do we... I don't want to drill through that box necessarily. Can we get away with just strong double-sided foam tape sticking all these components down to the base of the box? Do you think that's acceptable? What about a good sturdy toolbox that would have a handle? Small toolbox. I don't want it to look like a toolbox. It's a good idea. It is a good idea. I just don't want it to look like your classic toolbox. But then if it's got the compartments in the top, you could keep extra little hose lock fittings and stuff in it. So that might be quite handy. Something small and diddy like this. Dry box. I think that might be too small. 17 centimeters. Hang on. Is that really that big? 170 millimeters. That's 17 centimeters. That's that wide. It's the sort of thing that'd be ideal though. That little foam insert. 258 mil. That's still small. It's not even really big enough for the battery. That looks big. Looks can be deceiving when you're buying stuff online, can't it? B&Q? No. Surely B&Q don't have all the answers. $410. That could be absolutely perfect. A nice Diddy toolbox. It's a Stanley Essential toolbox. Oh, I might have to go and get one of them tomorrow. If you use a battery box or an enclosure, you can cut out sections for the display on the controller and mount all the dials. I think you could probably do the same with something like this little toolbox, to be fair. What would be the best way of cutting one of these toolboxes up and not making a mess and not stabbing yourself twice like I did last time? The pumps have some vibration, so it's better to be screwed in. But if it's on a thick double-sided foam tape, surely that would remove some of the vibration. Mount it on the inside, no drilling the sides. Install it on a piece of ply and glue that to the bottom of the box. Multi-tool. You're all saying multi-tool. I think you'll find that very flimsy, do you? You reckon? You might be right. You might be right. But we're on the right track. Thanks for all the ideas. Beautiful. Would anyone be interested in like a little tutorial video on how I wired this together? I'm just impressed that it recharges. I thought, oh, I'm going to buy this battery and I'm going to use it up and I'm not going to be able to recharge it, but I've managed to wire in. I've wired it up so it actually bloody recharges. I'm very impressed with myself. Dremel with a cutting disc, angle grinder. Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of them little whizzers. Sharp scalpel. Oh, I wouldn't trust me with a sharp scalpel on plastic. No chance. Has anyone seen the new surface cleaner? That, is it Blast Away? Anyone seen this? What is that? Exclusive new product to market. The new Falch Skater has been created. Lee Barrow's request. It's coming to market soon here in the UK. After successful testing stages, this high standard piece of kit is ready. German quality engineering at its finest. No fuss, ease of use and great maneuverability flat surface cleaner. Better to its predecessor. I can't tell from the photo what makes it better other than potential ergonomics. And also, someone mentioned the price. They're going to clarify, but in the region of £2,300 to £2,600. What would make so I think what that is, we've got 3 casters. So these big plates on the front are caster mounts by the looks of it. So there's 3 wheels on the bottom. What makes that different to a flat surface cleaner? Flat surface cleaner or landmine detector? It's very interesting. I mean, if it does what we all want it to do, then it might be worth the £2,500. But if this works on block paving, this could be the ticket. This could be the new revolutionary product. But I've got a little bit of experience now with messing about with surface cleaners on block paving, and it's harder than it seems. It's harder than it should be. But what is different about this? Can anyone work it out? The plate coming off the front, I think that plate coming off the front is a caster. It's a mounting plate for a wheel. Just a bigger, probably more robust, higher quality caster than what you're used to seeing on these things. Maybe this is just built to an absolute standard of, you know, you're gonna be using this hours and hours at a time for commercial work, and it's just gonna last. Maybe just all the components are so much more superior to other surface cleaners, but does that really make it worth that? I mean, you could buy, what's a surface cleaner? 500 quid. You could buy 5 surface cleaners for the same price as one of these. So looks absolutely shite. Vouches quality, but bloody hell, it's expensive. Well, we don't know what it does. It's easy to say that's expensive, but we don't know. If it's just a surface cleaner with a slightly improved design, then I don't know. Crazy. Intriguing. And crazy. I forgot to tell the story about these headphones. So I ordered these off Amazon, 2 sets for about 75 quid each, something like that. And it was like next day delivery, and it said it'd be here by 10 p.m. And 10 p.m. arrives. No, 9 p.m. and it hadn't turned up. And then they sent a text to say it's going to be 10 p.m. now, and it still hadn't turned up at 10 p.m. At about 11 p.m, I heard the Amazon driver outside my house. They said it's going to be pushed back to the 12th now, so you're not going to get it until another 2 days. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Amazon driver arrives 11 o'clock at night, and I hear him sort of tiptoeing outside, and I poke my head out the window, and he's dropped it on the front step. I thought, oh, sweet. So I went down, grabbed the package, come upstairs, opened the package, opened both sets of headphones, including Jakey's, put them on charge so that we could use them tomorrow. And then about half an hour later, I hear their vans are going back and forward around the close, because they'd obviously watched the football and now all their deliveries are late. I think what they've done, because it was on the night where England were playing. Not the most recent game, but the one before. And so they'd clearly watched the football, which is why all their deliveries were late, and now they're rushing round at 11 o'clock at night trying to fill all these deliveries. And so he comes back, and I could hear him. So I poked my head out the window, the top window, and I said, "You're right, mate." He went, "Oh, bruv, I weren't supposed to give you that package, you know." I was like, "What do you mean?" He went, "I was supposed to get a code from you, yeah." I went, "I can give you the code. I've got the code. I was surprised you left it, but I've got the code." He went, "Yeah, but I'm not going to do his accent." He said the service thing is shut now, so I can't verify the code. So I was like, well, what do you want me to do? And he was a nice guy. He said, "This is bad, man. This is bad for me." I said, "I've already opened them." He said, "What was it?" I said, it's a set of headphones that I've opened and I've put them on charge." He went, "I kind of need it back. Can I have them back? And I'll re-deliver them tomorrow." I went, "Well, I've opened them." He went, "What? Can you put something else in the box to like weigh it down and then tape the box back up?" Because he said, I could lose my job over this. Like, I shouldn't have given it you without that code. And I said, "Yeah, right. I'll just put some." So I came into Luca's room. I got these Rubik's cubes, and I just put these Rubik's cubes in the box. Spent like 10 minutes trying to find something. Sellotaped it all back up and give it back to him. 11:30 at night. I'm just sort of mucking about with this Amazon driver. I bet the neighbours were wondering what was going on. And when he feels it, he's like, "Yeah, it might work. It might work, but I don't know. I could be in big trouble, mate." I was like, he's like, "No, thanks for doing that anyway, thanks." He went and got back in his van, and I heard him on the phone then to his boss. And his boss went, "Don't worry about it, just get the code, get what the code would have been, and then we'll just pretend that we're going to re-deliver it tomorrow and type the code in tomorrow instead." And so he came back to the doorstep. This is like getting on to like midnight. And he said, "Can I have that code?" And he said, I'll leave this on your doorstep because I don't need this anymore." So I've just done all that. And you're not even going to take it. I was like, okay. So he took the code off me and he went. Never heard from him again. This is why Sophie's on holiday. And I'm just sort of like, it was such a surreal, weird moment. And a total waste of time for both of us. But he shouldn't have watched the football and been late. It's his own fault. What does everyone think of... I've been ordering a lot of stuff lately, materials-wise, like with regards to sealer and jointing compound and basically having to pay for stuff before I'm at the job. You know what I mean? And I've got into the habit now of, if it's over like 40, 50 quid, I'm saying to the customer, like, you can expect me to get in touch probably a week before and ask you for a deposit. Is that okay? And they normally say yes. These are 3M ear protectors. I don't know what the model is. About 75 quid on Amazon. Oh, they're 3M Work Tunes. Thoroughly recommended. So I've started taking a deposit for anything over about 50 quid, I reckon. And no one's had a problem with it so far. But occasionally you get your trade discount on stuff. Are you guys... In the past, other professionals have told me materials should be charged at cost plus 10% admin fee. So the fact that I've got to go and order these materials is costing me time, which is money. And I should be increasing the cost of those materials by 10%. But the issue that I've got with that is, if the customer then goes and finds those materials online, they see the brand on the bag or on the box or whatever I'm using, and they go and Google that themselves, and they find it for 10% cheaper themselves, they're going to think I'm potentially trying to rip them off. And also, sometimes you sign up for trade discounts on websites and stuff. And I was speaking to Jakey about it the other day, I think it was Jakey. And he said, like, do you charge the customers how what you pay, or like what the normal rate is? Because if you get a trade discount on some sand, for example, everywhere else, kiln dried sand, I had to go to Wickes on Sunday. Kiln dried sand is £7.60 per bag. I'm paying £3.50 at Travis Perkins at the moment. Are you guys charging the customer £7.60, or are you charging them £3.50? That's what I want to know. I'm just interested as to what other people are doing. The videos all over YouTube, how to make your own window cleaning trolleys. Same thing, loads of ideas for them you can use for window cleaners or soft washing. Oh, thanks, Negan. I'm going to have a look at that. Thank you, mate. Haven't even thought to Google it, to be honest. I suppose it is just a window cleaning trolley, isn't it? It's just the pump slightly different, maybe. Can you chat on the phone with them? With who? Oh, with these, yes. I thought you meant with like Amazon or something. Yeah. As long as you've Bluetoothed it to your phone, which is where you're going to be listening to your music from, as soon as you get a call through, yeah, it just comes through. It tells you the battery status. There's a couple of shortcuts for it. Jakey was working out a double tap is next song, a triple tap is previous song. Oh god. Yeah, they've got a microphone in them, so you can quite clear conversations with them actually. Materials marked up always. Doesn't matter if you get trade discount after the deposit. It's about the extra admin, ordering, pricing up, figuring it out, picking them up, etc. Customer can buy the materials, but then they're going to make you work it all out anyway. Yeah, that was the other thing I was thinking. So I used some hard setting jointing sand the other day, and the sand itself was about 30 quid a bag, which I thought was quite good for this hard setting stuff. But I had to drive. It was about a 45-minute round trip I had to drive to go and pick it up. And I thought I should probably be charging this to the customer. But it was too late. I'd already sort of given the price and not accounted for the fact that I'd have to go and pick this up. Always go with Wix/B&Q prices. Yeah, because that's what they'd end up paying if they went to buy it themselves. Yeah, you are right. Tell them to buy it themselves if they question you. True. You could also do that, yeah. If you think I'm expensive, you know, feel free to go and buy it yourself. Yeah. I had a chat with a finance guy. His main question to me was markup on materials. You must make money on materials. How long does it take you on average to figure out 200 square meters of block paving with sealer? Or an 80-meter jointing project? How many minutes do you spend sitting down working it out? Yeah, I mean, I use my calculator, so it's not very long. But yeah, it is extra work, it is time. And it is going onto the website, ordering it, taking delivery of it and all that sort of stuff. And then getting it from your property to theirs. Yeah, there is all sorts of little things that I suppose you don't think of. My accountant also said you should be factoring in the cost of a new van into all your work. Like, he didn't say it like that. It's things like if you need a new pressure washer next year, that needs to be accounted in your prices this year. So if you need to charge an extra 5 or 10% on each job to be able to afford that new piece of equipment next year, all your equipment and your materials should be included in your costs. So it's no good saying I've got a £10,000 van and now I can start working because the van's paid off and I can just charge my standard rate. Just because your van's paid off, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be trying to make that money back. Or make the work pay for that van. The work should be paying for the van. I don't know if I've explained that very well. He explained it much better than me. But you should be accounting for all these costs in your work. Yeah, it shouldn't just be this is how much I need to make per day to be profitable. You should be profitable, and you should have that extra bit that accounts for your maintenance on your machine. It should account for the cost of your van, cost of replacement parts, all that sort of stuff. You're dead right about the van costs. That came from my accountant. I didn't even think about it. You could look at your equipment as paid off and forget that you ever bought it. But your customers should be paying for that. And I hadn't even considered that. If you're hiring a scaffolding tower, you're adding it to the price. If you own one, it doesn't mean you're going to charge less. True? Yeah. Well, how would you word that to your customer? Would you break it down and say scaffolding hire, even if you own it? Because you're pretty much lying to them at that point, because you're not hiring scaffolding. Or do you just include the cost of that tower in your price per square meter or whatever? If you don't mark up and don't make extra money, that's the difference between being a business making some money or a scaling business. How do you afford more Jakeys? How do you afford more Jakeys if you don't make up the extra work? If you don't mark up the extra work? I don't know what you're saying at the end there. More Jakeys. Oh, Jakey. I thought you were talking about me, but you're talking about more employees. They are hiring it. Oh, I didn't think about it like that, PM. The customer is hiring it from you. That's a good point, because they need to ensure adequate access for you to be able to do the job. So they can either pay to have scaffolding put up, or they can hire your tower. That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. Has anyone got any questions or anything they want to go through? Because there's stuff that I wanted to talk about that I've pretty much got through tonight. I've done my chemical pump. I've done my headphones. I've done the links, the Amazon driver, the trade discount. We've spoke to Rich. Is there anything else anyone would like to go through? Because you've still got me for a while. There's no video this week, so I'm happy to hang around for a bit if anyone wants to talk about stuff. If you've had any burning, you forgot the giveaway. If you've had any burning questions that have been bugging you, that you don't quite understand how stuff works, I'd be happy to go through it now. When's your van's MOT? It is on the 23rd, next Tuesday. Can you go through nozzle angles on surface cleaners? Yes. Was it Sean that Prompt Peak that did that little guide? He did a little image that was like quite good to visualize it. So when it comes to changing the nozzles on your surface cleaner, normally if you buy a surface cleaner, it's generally going to come with 25-degree nozzles. So this one in the middle, it won't be green. They'll just be like a generic silver 1/4-inch nozzle. Usually they're 25-degree ones. Because they're sort of generic, they're in the middle. They're sort of okay for everything. If you plan on trying to tackle block paving with your surface cleaner, get your expectations in check early. You're going to struggle. I think most people with an average pressure washer is going to struggle to properly clean block paving. But you can help it by fitting a 15-degree nozzle. So this yellow one. So a 15-degree nozzle, you can have the same amount of water, but it's going to be slightly higher pressure and it's going to be concentrated in a smaller area. And so you're gonna get more moss and weeds up than you would with like a 25-degree nozzle. I also tried 0-degree nozzles on my surface cleaner, and it was much more effective. But because there's less of a spread, you have to go slower to avoid leaving lines, leaving circles. You have to push it along slower. For delicate surfaces, I would recommend going between a 25-degree and a 40-degree. So if I'm cleaning limestone which is very, very prone to etching, or like concrete and stuff like that, which is prone to leaving like tram lines and stripes, I would generally put on a 40-degree nozzle. Tarmac, I've been struggling with my 40-degree on tarmac because of things like ingrained moss that grows between the pores of the tarmac. So I've been going back down to 25-degree and having much more success with 25-degree. But again, even on tarmac, you've got to be careful not to use too high pressure on your surface cleaner and end up leaving loads of stripes and tram lines. So the way you work it out on a surface cleaner as to what size nozzle you need. So you've got the degrees. So we've been through, 40-degree for sensitive surfaces, 25 degrees like a good all-rounder, and 15 degrees for like block paving if you want to attempt it. But honestly, I wouldn't really bother. So there's that. There's the angle. Matt's moved some things around here. Where is the guides? General guides. So then you've got the nozzle chart. And so whatever machine you've got, if you're going to order some new nozzles for it, if it's like a new turbo nozzle or a new fan nozzle, you need to make sure you've checked the nozzle guide, and you're matching up the flow rate with your bar. So for example, I don't know if you can see my mouse on screen here. If I've got a 200 bar machine and it runs at, let's say, 20 litres per minute, so 20.8 here is what I'd probably go for. That would mean I need a 0.65 nozzle. So whenever you're going on a website, let's go on PWSAS, PWS, and then you go, say, turbo nozzle, it's going to ask you, that's a bad example. That's also a bad example. Where do you select the size of the nozzle on PWS? I'm sure I've done it before. Let's do Rutland pumps instead. So when you choose whichever turbo nozzle you want, it's going to ask you, do you want 045, 05, 055? And so if we've determined that we need an 065, then that's the one that you pick here, 065. And that means the orifice size, the amount of water that it lets through, is appropriate for your machine, and you're actually going to get the most out of your machine. If you go for a smaller orifice size, you might increase the pressure, but you're not allowing enough water to get through to actually make the most of your 20 litre per minute machine or whatever you've bought. So it's very important that you spec the nozzle to the correct size. When you're changing the nozzles on your surface cleaner, you want to divide this number by however many nozzles that you need. So I had a triple bar on my surface cleaner. So say my machine is 09, my machine needs a 109 nozzle. You'd have to divide that by 3 to split it between the 3 jets on your surface cleaner. So I'd need 3 03 jets. If you've only got a twin bar, so if you've got one bar with 2 nozzles on your surface cleaner that rotates round, you need to divide that number by 2. So if you've got an 06 nozzle on your turbo, you'll want 2 03 nozzles on your surface cleaner. Hope that answers your question. A good beginning pressure washer. What's your budget, Matthew? Because the word good is like, it depends on what you're expecting with regards to your budget. Can you talk about your year one full time? What did you What did you achieve? What did you do to achieve success in that year? Going full-time year one. I mean, that was only last year. I think last year was my first year full-time. And it was just, I think it was being reliable was the main thing. That if you read, if any of you are actually interested, you can go onto my Google page and onto my Facebook page and read my reviews. And my sister pointed this out to me. She said, a lot of your reviews mention your character rather than the actual work you've done. Like, a lot of them say, oh, he's done a fantastic job and all that sort of stuff. But they mainly talk about, he turned up on time, he was communicative, and he did what he said he was going to do. And he was a nice guy. Like, I think it's all about being reliable and approachable and just being very clear on what the customer's going to get for their money. And I think that's all right, Lindsay, no worries. I think as long as you're when people get busy, they lose that. And I'm scared that, I mean, I'm already behind with my quotes. I've got 7 emails that I was supposed to get back. I was supposed to get back and quote people today. And I've not had time to even look at those emails because I've been just doing other bits and bobs, trying to catch up. I'm thinking this is impacting how reliable I'm being. And I need to get back to the fundamentals of what made my business successful. And it was being reliable, communicating with people, and just doing a good job. I can't attribute it to good advertising or good marketing because I wasn't doing anything. I was posting pictures on Facebook. That was it. That was the extent of my marketing. I think it's about the relationship you develop with each customer. I really do. It sounds corny, but I really do think it's making sure that you treat each customer as if they are now a lifelong customer and they're going to come back to you next year. Because if you see each customer as just a bit of cash to keep you going, you're going to try and get in and out. You're going to try and get in and out of that job as quick as possible. You're going to miss the details. I think it's the details that really matter in this job. Just been searching for boxes. Found an orange marine storage box on Google. Let me see this. Orange marine storage box. Is it this one? Water resistant, emergency small marine box colour orange. That's cheap compared to some of the other boxes I've seen. Oh, it's 13 centimetres wide by 29. You know, that could be a nice little diddy box. 30 wide. That'll fit the battery. Sideways. 13. A little bit small, that one is. Is that the one? I wonder if there's bigger ones. This one's got a lift out tray. This one's bigger. That could be the one, you know. It's waterproof as well. That looks perfect. Literally perfect, Simon. Thank you. I'm going to order one of them. Sick. I love this. I love that you guys tinker away in the background and find stuff for me. That's so good. What would be your best advice in regards to gaining work when you're first setting out? I think I sort of went through that with Matt's question, Phil. To take photos of everything that you do and make sure you've got somewhere that you can post them as a portfolio. I just did Facebook. But you want to be able to show customers that you can get results. And I've landed work. Say, for example, this is a made up example, but say composite decking. The customer wants to check that you know how to clean composite decking because it's potentially quite a sensitive surface and they don't want any sort of strong chemicals and stuff on it. Solar panels, they want to check that you can clean solar panels without damaging them. I can then show them a catalogue of before and after pictures for solar panels and composite decking that I've done before. You need somewhere to store your portfolio pictures, and people don't take photos of their work, and so that's hundreds and hundreds of jobs that you haven't documented, that you haven't. I think it plays a huge part in people's decision as to whether they actually employ you or not. It's not only reviews, but it's content. It's making sure people can see you're, one, active and posting stuff, and two, that you've got the experience. It's all well and good having reviews. I think people want to see that you can do the transformation, and like, what better job that lends itself to a good transformation? Like interior cleaners, it's not as impressive. Like cleaning a bathroom isn't going to be an amazing before and after picture. Our job lends itself to showing the like a massive difference to the work you put in. 40-degree nozzles, lower the bar right down, works a treat. For what, Paul? For tarmac, you mean? Can any brush be made to fit any pole? For example, can I fit a gardener brush to an over 8 pole? I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question. I'm sure there's adapters that you can get. I'm sure there are adapters on the Gardener website. Adapter. There's like Euro adapters and stuff that you can use to fit. Gooseneck adapter. Pole tip adapter for traditional connector cones. I think I'm the wrong person for this question. I'm sure there's a way you can do it. Does anyone else know in the chat? Can anyone help Great North with this question? The list was getting so long, I've categorized everything. No, that's great. That's better than how it was before. I didn't know you could do that with the categories. You can't see what I'm pointing at. I didn't know you could put spaces in between all this stuff with categories. So we've got a whole guide section, chats by type, boosted members area, general channels. That's great. Thanks for doing that. No worries, PM. No worries, Lindsay. Hypo versus biocide on roofs. Because of the awful weather, I've seen a few using hypo now because they feel that bio is just going to wash off with the rain. What are your thoughts on hypo on roofs? It's a good option. It will instantly kill all of that organic material left over from either scraping or pressure washing. It will kill everything off, within 10 or 20 minutes. And so it's a quicker, faster acting alternative. And if there are any stains or spots left over from pressure washing, it's gonna clear most of it, which biocide won't do straight away. Biocide will take a lot longer to do that. Like you say, you've got a similar issue with hypo. If you're applying hypo in the rain, it's just going to rinse off the roof. The difference is If I apply hypo and then it rains an hour later, it doesn't matter because the hypo's already done its job. If I apply biocide and then it rains an hour later, the biocide's killed everything, but you don't get those lasting benefits that you'd normally get with biocide because it hasn't had a chance to absorb into the surface. Saying that, I've had some advice. I've seen some advice on some of the pressure washing pages where if the customer's got pets or something, you can apply biocide, have it do its thing where it, you know, it takes 10 minutes to kill everything, and then you can lightly rinse it off. So you still get short-term benefits of biocide, and you could argue that within the 10 or 20 minutes or an hour that you've left it to absorb, it's potentially absorbed in enough that even if you did rinse it after that, there's still some biocide residue in whatever surface it is. It's going to be different for each surface. If you've got like a very coarse textured concrete or concrete tile or something that's weathered and it's lost its coating, chances are if you apply biocide onto that, probably only needs an hour to absorb. Until it dries out, you could probably watch it dry, and at that point, even if it does rain, I'd say you'd be fine, personally. I've applied it in all sorts of conditions. I've applied it when it's rained within the next 6 hours, and I've applied it in minus temperatures where it says it's not going to be as effective. Each time I've done it, every time I've applied biocide, it's absolutely done its job. So I've never been worried, to be honest. Even if there's rain forecast in the next 12 hours, I think there's a window. There's a sensible window. The manufacturer is going to tell you 12 to 24 hours. If there's rain forecast, don't bother applying it. Probably to what's the phrase? Cover their back. I don't know if you need to be as strict with it, personally. It's so important to get to the customer when you said you would. Yes, it is. And if you're not gonna communicate early, give them plenty of notice, because some people are organising their whole day around your visit. Even your quote. If you say you're going around to quote, I've said to someone, I'll probably be around about 2 o'clock to come and have a look at your patio, if that's all right. And these old dears, they say, I did have a hair appointment, but I'll stay in. If it's only 2 o'clock that you can do, I'll stay in. And it's like, no, don't. You know, but some of these old people, every 2 weeks they have a hair appointment. That's the only time they get to go out and see people because they don't get visitors. And they're going to rearrange that to wait for me to come and quote their patio. And then imagine you don't turn up. You just like literally ruined that lady's day by not turning up. She's now seen no one all day, and she's got to rebook her appointment to try and get back in another day. And you just totally wasted her time. It's so important to communicate, and it's difficult to stay on top of all that sort of stuff when you get busy. And I'm going through that at the moment. I'm getting really busy, and I'm finding myself not being as reliable as I used to be, and it's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. Gonna add jet washing to my window cleaning round in March. I've got a $3,000 budget. What would you recommend I buy and from where? So if you type into Google or just your search engine smelt.club, you've got my quoting tool here that you can use for free, which will help you work out how much to charge. And you've got my trusted suppliers page at the top here. Rutland pumps, AC pressure washers, gutter vacuum systems that also do pressure washers, PWS, and pressure washer sales and service. These are the guys that have just built Jakey's machine for us, who's my new employee. And they also sell these business starter packs as well. They'll give you some solid advice on how to use your machine. They only fit the best stuff to their machines, so all the premium fittings. If you buy a machine like this, it means you won't have to upgrade anytime soon. and it comes with everything you need to start cleaning driveways and patios professionally. You can do commercial work with this sort of stuff as well. I'd recommend these guys. But there's loads of other places. Rutland Pumps do fantastic machines, AC pressure washers. Darren at PWS does some awesome custom machines as well. I think if you've got a £3 budget, that's a very healthy budget. I'd go for a 21 litre per minute machine, roughly around 200 bar, 250 bar. Get yourself a buffer tank. You're gonna need some sort of water tank, because you're not going to get enough water from the customer's tap to satisfy the requirements of this machine. So you need that extra bit of buffer. You fill your tank when you arrive on site, and it means your pressure washer can draw from that then. And because it's got this float valve, this blue float valve at the top, it means that the bin will fill up, and when you're ready to get going, you know, the water fills to the top and then it stops at this float valve, it shuts off, and then you turn your pressure washer on, you start cleaning, the water level drops, and then every time you come off the trigger it starts rising again, because the customer's tap is still putting water into this bin, but it will never overfill. So it's these buffer tanks they're fantastic, and it means you're not going to run your pump dry. If you've got a pump that requires 21 litres per minute, but you're only feeding it 14-15 litres per minute from the customer's tap, you're going to run it dry, and you're going to introduce vibration. You're going to potentially put more wear onto your pump and stuff. So you've got to make sure you're giving it enough water. Or you could go for a cheaper machine. If it's just the occasional pressure washing job that you want to do, you could go for a smaller... I'm just picking this one as an example because it's the one I started with. This is an incredibly cheap machine. It's not designed for commercial use, but it's just to explain my point. This machine, instead of 21 litres per minute, the amount of water it's putting out, this one's only putting out 11 litres per minute. But it's still a very capable petrol engine pressure washer. It will achieve the same results, just much slower. But you could feed this one, you could comfortably feed this one from a customer's tap. I'd say, in my experience now that I've been using a flow meter, I'm measuring the customer's tap each time that I'm doing the job. It's on my hose reel, so I can see exactly how much is going into my tank. Generally, it's between about 12 and 18 litres per minute. Occasionally, we've had 25, 35 litres per minute from one or two customers' taps, which is insane. But on the low end, you're going to be at around about 10. On the high end, it's going to be at around about 18 litres per minute. So if you go for an 11 litre per minute machine, you won't need a buffer tank and you won't need to carry all that extra equipment around with you. You can just plug straight into their tap. Food for thought, something to consider. If it's only going to be the occasional job that you want to do, and it's not going to be full-time stuff. If you're doing mostly gardening and a bit of pressure washing, you might want to consider a smaller machine. Because don't forget, this equipment takes up a lot of room in your van. You've got your pressure washer, you've got your hose reel, you've got your buffer tank. You need a whole van just to cover that equipment. I mean, I don't know if you heard our conversation with Richard earlier. He's got his tank, his pressure washer, his hose reels, and he could potentially sneak in a small gutter vacuum if he were to buy one now, and that would be it. His van's full. So if you've got all your gardening equipment as well, you know, you're going to need to consider how that's used. Matt's upgrading the Discord one step at a time. I just want to shout out Matt again, by the way. He's putting so much work in behind the scenes. He's doing so much to improve stuff for this community and make things easier to access and easier to understand, and quick guides for people where someone comes in and they ask the same question every time, which is natural because we've all got to start somewhere. So Matt's trying to make these sections of the Discord where he can just put a link in and people can click on the link and it takes them straight to like clearing oil for the first time, what to expect, you know, all that sort of stuff. And he spends so much time answering questions. Matt, what do you do? Because someone asks a question and like I'm on a break, I'm in the middle of a job, and I've took 5 minutes to eat some Watsits or have a drink or something, and I notice a question and it was posted an hour ago, and I start answering the question, and I scroll down a little bit. Matt's already answered it. Every single time he's already made a huge paragraph of text going through everything they need to know to answer their question. I just can't shout him out enough. He's doing so much for this channel. I use a gardener brush and an X-line on an over 8 pole. You change the brush socket for the over 8 ones, either a fixed or a swivel. There you go. I think if it rains a couple of hours after you apply it, it's fine. Always take a cup of tea if an old person offers. It could be the only person they see all day. Yeah, I was talking to Jakey about it the other day. Some of these people, they've got so much to say and they've got so many stories to tell, but they've got no one to talk to. And so you might think, oh God, this one's absolutely talking my ear off. I can't get away from them. But you've also got to consider you might be the first person they've seen in a week. It's such a shame when you think about it like that. But what pressure washer did you get for Jakey? I need a wee. Can I have a wee first and then I'll show you? I'm going to play this advert again because it's the only one I've got set up because I've moved all my stuff around, so you don't have to watch it, but I'll be back in 2 minutes. Now these videos take a lot of time and effort to film and edit on top of trying to run a successful pressure washing business. If you find any of the information in my videos useful, then I'd like for you to consider becoming a paid member of the channel. Circle members and above will get access to my private Discord for members only, where you can pretty much get a hold of me 24 hours a day for inspiration, technical help, marketing advice, or just a general chat. I post pictures and videos that you won't see on any of my other socials. You'll be the first to hear about giveaways, special offers and announcements, and it's just generally a nice place full of like-minded people who are all heading towards similar goals. We've got various different experience levels. We've got a few professionals in the chat as well. If you want to push your business, in my opinion, this is the place to be. We also have 2 other membership tiers. One is just to show a bit of support for the channel, and the other one is for boosted members, which will not only give you access to the private Discord, but also loads of high quality promotional images for you to start your business. I know what it's like when you're ready to get going, but you don't have any before and after pictures to put on your leaflets. At the moment there's about 150 images that you can use for pretty much whatever you like, and my intention is to constantly update these over the next few years with all of my before and afters that have helped promote my business. Last thing before I let you go, new videos come out every Monday night at 5:30, and then I go live at 7:30 to chat to you guys and answer as many questions as possible. We do live quotes for real customers and just generally keep up to date with everything going on in the pressure washing world. Thanks for watching, back to the video. Right. Sorry about that. Third wee. Fastest weir in the West though, remember that. I always stand and chat to an old person, yeah. It's difficult sometimes when the job's already taken a little bit longer than you expected it to, and you've got to get off to your next one. It is difficult, but I've always found that spending that extra bit of time, it's not only a nice thing to do, but it could also potentially lead to more work if they know, you know, you're reliable, you turned up, you did a good job, and you're a nice person. You stood and had a chat with them, you know. I'm just gonna put up my video of the machine that I bought for Jakey. So it's from Pressure Washer Sales and Service in Evesham. It's the people I showed you earlier. And I've asked for like a custom build. I asked for a specific type of frame with a hose reel mounted on top. Because someone in the Discord, someone on the live stream made a really good point and said, you probably shouldn't have a van mounted pressure washer as a second machine, just in case you want to drop Jakey off at a job while you're going and doing something else. You want to be able to take it in and out of the van. That's a really good point. And so I thought the best way to do that would be, instead of mucking about with external hose reels and stuff, to have one built onto the machine. And I've seen a couple of frames that look like this, and it's great. It's exactly what I was hoping for, and it does its job perfectly. And so it's a 21 litre per minute, 200 bar machine. It's a Honda GX390. It's the one that everyone wants, or everyone recommends at least. We can pull this in and out of the van between the two of us if we need to, or we can just mount it in the van and leave it strapped down inside the van, which is what we've been doing. It's got the orange buffer tank. It's got the orange hose reel. I don't think they work on these frames very often. They don't do like custom orders very often, I don't think. But I asked for this frame or one similar, so they found one. They stripped it, sent it off to get it powder coated for me. Same with the hose reel. I don't think they'd supplied that hose reel before, but they found one for me. Put the proper 3/4 inch low pressure hose on it. Really high quality hose, all the nice fittings. They've put a pressure gauge on there for me. All the good stuff, basically. And they've done it at a great price as well, so I can't thank them enough. It's been so good. And it's meant that we can just get out there, and Jakey now, he's already fully effective as a new employee. He's only been with me for like less than a month now, and he's keeping up with me. You know, you'd have thought that with someone with a bit more experience, he'll be lagging behind a little bit. But it's not even a difference in machines. Like, my machine is more powerful and it puts out more water, but I don't use it on full whack all the time. I never use it on full whack, actually. So we're running around about equal now with these two machines. And depending on which nozzles we're using, sometimes he's going faster than I am. And he's cleaning just as effectively and efficiently as I am. And it's crazy how you can take someone that is brand new to pressure washing, as long as you provide them with the best equipment, they can be fully effective within weeks. And of course, there's stuff he's still learning, and he's probably learning every day, I'd say. But he's already sort of paying for himself in the speed. I didn't expect in the beginning to be going through jobs. I thought, I don't want to employ someone because it's not going to translate to... We might do the job maybe 10-20% quicker, but it's not. Is that really worth employing someone full time just to do each job 20% quicker at best? And I was so wrong. I can't believe how wrong I was. We literally get through these jobs twice as quick as I would if I was on my own. Not only having two machines, but having another person there to help pack away. Say while I'm talking to the customer or getting paid or whatever, he's packing the van up. It's not only the speed of having two machines on a job, it's the speed of having a second person to be doing stuff while I'm somewhere else. It's been so good, and it's surprised me of how much more work we're getting through. And like I say, because we're getting through virtually twice the amount of work, he's already paid for himself this month. Look at my little ghetto funnel. I was so proud of myself with this idea. Look at that. Looks like a beast. It is. Absolutely is. Mount Speedy Spout, the fastest pisser in the West. Just got to give back to the community. Really, I like helping people, and this channel is valuable. And to me and a lot of people, got to look after it. Oh, thanks, Matt. It's amazing you've got a guy motivated and willing to work hard and learn. I can't believe he's 18, everyone's dream staff member. You will shape him to replicate you and the business will boom. You know what he said to me the other week? His car went in for an MOT and he said, I think it's going to fail. I might get a little van. And I think his thought process was, we could put that machine in his van and it'll free up a little bit of space in my van and he can go off and do his own stuff. How dedicated to the cause must you be to swap your car that's potentially going to fail its MOT for a van that's going to benefit my business? And on one hand, you could say, oh, maybe he's thinking about going off on his own and doing his own stuff, but I don't think he is. And even if he was, I'd be helping him along the way. And I've said that to him. If ever you get to the point where you want to do this on your own, don't try and do it behind my back. Let me know and I'll help you do it. And if you want to set up 2 minutes down the road, absolutely fine. Just let me know and we'll do it together. And I'll make sure you've got what you need. I'll make sure you buy the right stuff and whatever. But he's going to use his own money to go and buy a van, potentially even have its sign written with my stuff on it. And we haven't spoke about that, but I can imagine that's probably the direction it'll go. Who does that? You know what I mean? It's very cool. And you're right, it's amazing to find an 18-year-old who's a grafter, polite, nice to the customers, just gets on with it, follows instructions, listens to what I'm saying, learns from... I mentioned something about sand the other day. When we're resanding, if we leave too much sand in the joints, it means when I come over it again and leaf blow it at the end, it means all that excess sand is blown away and just sort of wasted. Whereas actually, if we do a bit more of a thorough brush in the first place, we can collect that sand, use it on the next job. Tight smelty. It's all about pinching them pennies. But I said it to him once, and now he's totally changed the way he's resanding. He's being so much more thorough with his sanding. And like, you just say it once, and he just does it. And it's easy to forget, like, he hasn't done any of this before. I've done this for 3 years now, and there's stuff that I've just got into the habit of doing, but I forgot that I had to learn it one day. I forgot that I made mistakes, learned from them, and that has taught me to do it this way. And he hasn't done any of that yet. He hasn't made those mistakes, and so he wouldn't know any different. And I forget that sometimes. But you tell him once, and he just does it. The battle of the Jakes coming soon. Now you have to breed him and train his spawn to become part of the Smelt army. Who's he going to breed with? That would mean he'd have to breed with a Smelt. I'm not sure I'm happy about that. Would you consider buying the van and fueling it, and all he does is insure it, and he can use it for personal use for the duration he's with you? Can brand it with Smelt to help him help you. Would you consider buying the van? I mentioned this at the pub. I said normally what would probably happen is when you're ready for a van, I would purchase the van, I would pay for the fuel, you'd just insure it. But then it's like it's like a sketchy line as to, well, he's then going to be using the fuel, and if it's his only vehicle, he's got to use it for personal use. And then it's going to be a weird thing with, is like, well, how often is he driving it? How much fuel am I putting in that van for him to use for personal use? And the wear and tear and the maintenance and all that sort of stuff, brake pads, or, you know. It's easier if he buys the van, owns it, and it's his, and he can do whatever he likes with it. And then he just gives me fuel receipts. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it in depth. It'd be cool if the van was his, because then if he did want to go off on his own at some point, then he's sort of ready to go, and it means I've not got another sort of liability. I see a second van as a bit of an extra liability, even though it's an asset. It is an asset to the business, but it's another load of tax and insurance and MOTs and maintenance and all that sort of stuff. Weekly fuel budget, I could do that. Yeah, I could. Smelt franchise is soon available across the UK. Speaking of franchises, H2O are going to be franchising soon. Well, they are franchising right now, and we're going to be doing some advertising for them. So if any of you guys want to buy into a pressure washing business, it's going down. It's going down in Bromsgrove. They're doing it. Tracked company miles. You set up a price per day of work used based on miles. Yeah, I mean, I could just do 45p a mile. It covers his... I mean, that's what I used to do when I worked for Lifeline. I would write down how many miles I did every day, contributing towards work, and they'd pay me 45p per mile, and that covered the cost of fuel, and it also covered the cost of wear and tear on the vehicle as well. If you can get tax relief on that stuff, it'll cost less for you to do it as a business. Yeah, potentially. If he's self-employed, then your way makes sense, as that's how all self-employed people work. But if he's not self-employed, which he isn't, everything can be written off. Yeah. So what are you saying, Phil? Are you saying it's better for me to purchase the van and to own everything? I don't know. Again, it's like an unnecessary expense at the moment. If he wants a new van, and I'm not necessarily ready to send him out on his own yet. We've still got a couple more months of work where it's like we need to make sure that standards are up here. Possibly more beneficial for you to purchase it down the line. Yeah, maybe. We've got a really good week coming up, and I'm excited to record some videos. I've got a massive tarmac ceiling job. 170 square meters tarmac ceiling, which will probably be the biggest one I've done, which is going to be Wednesday. That video should come out on Monday. And then a couple of weeks later, we've got the biggest pattern imprinted concrete job I've ever resealed, which is a little bit intimidating, but it's like quite exciting. I'm excited to like film that one. What else have I got? Just check my calendar now. Loads of little jobs in between, but got 15 solar panels to wash on Sunday. MOT next week. Lots of block paving work, gutters, conservatories, concrete slabs, big block paving job. Oh, we've got a limestone job coming up as well, opposite that chap that we sealed, that we painted his drive recently. We painted his block paving, and the neighbour over the road asked us for a quote. He's got a big block paved drive, and he's got limestone out the back. Got my dad's patio and gutters to do. Got another big, that'll be the second biggest tarmac ceiling job. 2 huge tarmac ceiling jobs within the space of a month of each other. Not as big. The drive is 80 square meters, but it's still part of a bigger project we're doing lots of pressure washing around his property. Like I said, so there's some good videos coming up, and there's lots of work being done in the background with regards to the Discord. We're adding lots of boosted images. If anyone needs help with their advertising, you've got the before and after photos that you can use, all split up into their different sections. You've got gutters, fascias and soffits, conservatories. You can use any of these pictures in your marketing. Got block paving, before and after pictures. You can literally just go into the Discord, as long as you're a boosted member. Go into the Discord, download these images, and use them as if they're your own. And then we're also working on the surface guide as well. So I spent a while typing all this up, and then Matt has formatted it. I think he's added some stuff to it as well, and we're just in the process of attaching some photos and stuff for like identification, so you can see what we're talking about when we're advising you on all these different surfaces, on how to clean them, how to identify them. So we're doing a lot in the background to try and make this Discord a really good place for all experience levels. If anyone's got a question, I just want to be able to send them a link and say, this is either a video of how to do what you're asking, or this is a step-by-step walkthrough of what you need to know before you start. 50-50 on a van and insurance. Then when it's time to separate, he buys the other half. Potentially, that's a good idea. Then it's a little bit cloudy though, isn't it? There's a little bit of a, I don't know, it doesn't sound very simple, that one. I guess the main thing to do is not lose sight of his motivation to work for you. Whatever you do will be the right thing to benefit him and the business, for it to flourish. Yeah, like I don't want to take advantage of his generosity to go off and buy his own van. Yeah, I don't know. I struggle with this because on one hand I want to be like, he hasn't opened his wallet once with regards to buying lunch and stuff. Like, I'm trying to treat him really well so he feels valued, and so we're eating. If you followed our Instagram or Facebook, we're eating really well every day. We're either going out for food or we're getting a takeaway in the van, or we're getting some like bougie meal deal or something. Like, it's always good. We're always eating well. And I didn't mention anything before he started that he wouldn't sort of need to pay for his lunch or anything, but I'm sort of covering lunch for him. And I'm a bit concerned that stories I've heard from other workplaces, people start to expect stuff, and it's a shame when that happens, because when you've got like I'm trying to be a good boss, when you've got a nice boss that just naturally sort of does nice things, if they choose not to do that for a month or two, people start thinking, oh, is it, you know, they start to get a bit sort of entitled, and they think that's not fair. What, you know, why does he do it last month but he's not doing it this? A precedent for how we're gonna do things going forward. But on the other hand, I want to do nice things. I want to give bonuses when we've done with, you know, if we've had a good month, or YouTube's done particularly well this month. Like, we had that big video that we put out the other day that's reached 300,000 views, which has just been insane. when stuff like that happens, it'd be nice to give a cheeky bonus. But then you do it too often and people start to expect it. And so I don't know how to play it. I don't know how to... I don't know how to be nice without... This has got nothing to do with Jakey. This is just me trying to be like a good manager. Does Jakey watch your live streams? I don't think so. No. No, he always asks me how they are. Bless him. This is nothing to do with him. It's literally just me trying to work out what sort of manager I want to be. Because in the past, I've not been a very good one. I've said this to other people, and it's like I've always struggled with being. I've always struggled with trying to find that line between being everyone's mate and trying to have people respect me as a manager. Like, it's a very fine line to walk, because I don't want to come into work and be a dick and create like a miserable or like an intense working environment where everything's super strict and people are scared of you and stuff. But at the same time, if you're too friendly with people, they could take advantage of that. And so it's a very difficult line to tread. And I've struggled with it in the past. And so I'm trying not to make those mistakes again, because I've been a manager at Aldi and I've been a manager at Maplin, and I've been, you know, team leader and stuff in an aerospace factory, and it's always been very difficult for me. I think it's difficult for a lot of people, but now that it's just me and Jakey, it's like, who do I want to be? What sort of person do I want to be? I want to make him feel valued, because he is extremely valuable and he's doing a great job. And I'm trying to provide him with the best equipment so he can do his job as well as he possibly can. Like these, for example, these aren't cheap, but I knew that having a good pair of headphones and him being able to just listen to his music all day is going to change his job from potentially being miserable in the rain, cold and wet, to actually, like, you got your headphones on, you got the correct waterproofs, you're in the right gear, you're not getting wet, and you listen to your music in the background while you're working. Like, I want it to be nice, I want it to be fun, because it's very easy for this job to be miserable if you start the day with wet boots or you start the day with wet socks or whatever, because you've not got the right waterproofs or you've done something wrong or whatever. You're going to be miserable for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Or if you've got too much vibration coming through your lance, you're going to be in pain all day. I just want to make sure that he's using the best stuff so that he can be comfortable, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I think this will be different for you because Jakey is willing to learn and look up to you. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he's definitely willing to learn. I don't know if he looks up to me necessarily, but I also have got to manage my expectations of how passionate he is about the job. Do you know what I mean? Because he's getting paid his wage, and for the wage he's getting paid, I wouldn't expect him to be excited about pressure washing. You know what I mean? I'm excited about pressure washing because I get to do all this sort of stuff and it's fun, and I love tinkering with all this, and like, I just find it fun. I wouldn't expect him to be like that because it's not his like chosen field of whatever he wants to do with his life. But so I've got to manage my expectations there as well, with even just with the sorts of conversations we have in the van. Like, I've got to sort of remember, like, he's potentially not as into this as I am, so I've just maybe got to rein it in a little bit sometimes. Not that I get sort of carried away. It's just a bit. He's 18. He's young, and he's probably got loads of other stuff going through his head that he wants to think about, and then I'm chatting to him about fucking nozzles. You know what I mean? $4.99 a month for access to the Discord is a no-brainer for everyone thinking about starting up or newly started. Oh, thanks, Simon. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's. I think people in the Discord get value from it, and I just feel a bit guilty sometimes about how much time I'm able to spend in there at the moment. I'm definitely getting in there every day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, trying to answer questions and stuff. But I always feel a bit guilty when there's a question been posted, and I've only caught it like 4 or 5 hours later, or someone else has got there before me or something. But we all help each other, you know what I mean? Penguin, badger, turkey, bear, welcome. Hey Jake, hi David. I've decided to hold back on the start until April next year. Got money saved away for slightly better equipment, and the weather up in NE Northeast is horrific so far this summer. It's valid, very valid. I don't know if I've sent it to you before, or I don't know if I've linked it. But I'm going to link a video in the chat, and even if you don't watch it now, I think it's a good idea for you to watch it later. I'm going to stick that in the chat now. And it's about waiting. It's about waiting to start your business, and why you shouldn't wait. Why you should actually just start now. Because there's an argument to be made for actually, I need the stars to align before I can start, before I can actually just get going. I need to have this piece of equipment, or I need to have my van, or I need to reduce my hours at work before I can start doing this. And it's like that you'll make all these different reasons as to why you can't start right now. And then the goalposts get further and further away. And you don't know what position you're going to be in April next year. You have no idea where you're going to be in April next year. So I would consider watching that video that I've just linked in the chat. And just consider it. I have no jobs booked as a result of starting late. Start now, make next year count. Set your boundaries and draw a line. At least you both know where you stand. Most importantly, don't overstress yourself about it. Employees are supposed to make life easier and hopefully more fun. Phil, you're absolutely right. It is also, yeah, important to set like personal boundaries. I had this conversation with one of my good friends recently, and it's like, it's very easy. A lot of people do it in office jobs and stuff. It's very, very easy to allow your personal life to creep in to your professional life. And as a boss or as a manager, if you allow your personal life to dictate and change your mood, or change how you start the day and how you interact with your employee, if you start the day in a strop because something's happened at home, that employee is then going to think, what mood's he going to turn up in today? Like, is this going to be a good day, or is this going to be a shit day again? And that makes for a terrible, toxic work environment. And I know that from a previous job, because it used to happen with my old boss. Oh, look at that! Oh my gosh! Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I paid with yours because I was on your PayPal.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
And I had to buy those for delivery.
Oh, to make it enough to deliver. Guys, look at that. This, my friends, is a chicken tasker. So it's a big, like, flat, like a pita bread with piri-piri chicken inside. It's got jalapenos. It's got a bit of salad. These are the crispiest chips in Redditch. Can you hear that? Maybe you didn't hear that. Hang on.
Don't. You're just troubling.
I've got noise cancellation on the microphone, so they probably didn't hear it. Listen to this. I'm joking. I'm going to go. And I'm going to enjoy this food. Has anyone used bark to generate leads? Be very wary of bark. Some of the leads I've heard are fake. Thank you, so. Love you. Some of the leads are fake, and some of the leads are also jumped on very quickly by other competing businesses. So it depends on who else is in your area as well. Treat every workday like it's a first date. Take everything off the table and go in being approachable. Yeah, I do try to, because I pick him up every morning, and I try to be like, right, whatever's happened last night or this morning, not that stuff happens, like I'm generally very happy, but I always tell myself when I'm sat on his drive, right, we're gonna have a good day, sort of thing. I've got to sort of pick myself up. I'm very relaxed about starting in April. It doesn't feel like I'm procrastinating for me. It doesn't feel like procrastinating. It feels like I'm getting all my affairs in order before I start. Perfect. If that's what you're happy with, mate. Just trying to offer a little bit of advice, and I think that video is still worth a watch. I've linked it a little bit further up. Guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I might actually end by playing this video. I think that's okay. I think that's alright. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in a bit. See you later.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about why starting your business in the spring is a terrible idea and why you should never do it. But before we get into that, I do want to show you guys something cool that I've been working on. I've been playing around with this hard close strategy. I showed 3 different people that I had, as well as be able to copy word for word what I'm texting. But with that said, let's go ahead and get into the video. So why is spring a bad time to start? I know what you guys are probably thinking, Justin, you're an idiot. Spring is when everything picks up, when we start landing jobs, when the phone starts ringing, when, you know, everything is going great. Well, I'm not talking about spring, the time of year. I'm not talking about February, March, April, May. I'm using spring more as a metaphor. Spring is the time when everything is convenient, when everything falls into place, when you have your equipment, when you've watched enough videos, when everything is going to go perfect. If you haven't started your business yet, you're probably waiting for spring to start. You're waiting for the right time. Therefore, right now, you're in winter. Because if you're not in spring, you're in winter. You know, winter's cold, winter's harsh, nothing's growing, it's hibernation time. You stay inside because that's where it's nice and warm. And your mindset's like, when I get this piece of equipment, I'll be ready. When the weather gets right, I'll be ready. When I watch a few more videos, I'll be ready. When I quit my job, I will be ready. The problem is that it's always winter. It'll never be spring. And that's why I wanted to make this video. You literally have to make your own spring. And I'm going to tell you guys an example of how I created my own spring. And this doesn't just include people who are just starting, right? We're all in winter. We all have things that we know we need to do, but we put them off for another time. Things that would grow our business, things that could make us more money, things that if we did them and we didn't wait would probably even change our lives. If you're waiting for the stars to align and the feeling to be right and for the approval of those around you, you will never get started. You'll never do the things that are going to push the needle, the things that need to be done, the things that are going to create change in your life, right? We all have these things. I'll give you guys an example of what my winter was. I always wanted to make this YouTube channel, the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. I wanted to document the journey years before I actually did it, but I let excuses get in my way. I said, well, you know, I don't really have a good camera, so I need to get a good camera. And then it was like, well, I don't really have the right computer for editing. And then like, what software am I going to use for editing? I'm not even sure how to edit videos. And what am I even going to make videos on? What am I going to talk about? Who's going to want to even listen to what I have to say? What do I really even know? And what are my friends and family going to think whenever they see me making YouTube videos, like talking about things that I'm doing? That was my winter. My winter was the battle between the thing that I wanted to do, the thing that I felt a pull towards, my passion, the thing that I knew was really could really move the needle in my life, the thing that I looked at other people doing and they were having success and they were doing the things that I wanted to do, but I continued to let excuses, I let things get in my way. I wasn't taking action toward what I wanted to do. And so the whole time I was in winter. I was uncertain. It was a time of inaction. I wasn't taking action. I wasn't trying to get the camera. I wasn't just making it work with whatever I had. It was a time of waiting for something that may never come to give you the go ahead to go ahead and do what I needed to do. So how did I get out of it? I took action. I recorded a video, and then I didn't do another video until 2 years later. One day I looked up and I saw that the video that I had done had 30,000 views on it, and I was like, wow, I could probably do this again. Like, I'm still flipping cars. Let me make another flipping cars video. So I said, you know what? I need to take action. I need to do this. And by that point, I was hungry enough. I was like, I'm tired of wasting time. I knew that if anything was going to change, it would need to start with me. I was going to have to take massive action, and so I did. I put my head down and I made video after video after video after video for 3 years to build this channel. What you guys are watching right now is a culmination of 3 years. And it's a culmination of even before this, because I had channels before this and I did things before this, before I even got to this point in the progression. But I get people that, you know, comment all the time and they say, dude, like, your channel exploded overnight, you're doing so great, it's awesome. But they didn't see that first year and a half where I put out video after video after video after video. No one watched, no one cared. I'd get like one comment, a couple likes on it. Or the days where, you know, I'd go to school and then I'd get out and then I'd go wash all afternoon and then I'd come back home and then I'd edit all night and then I'd wake up and I'd do the whole thing over again every single day. I was thinking of content. I was listening to people who were doing what I wanted to do all the time. I surrounded myself with it. I engulfed myself with it, but my channel blew up overnight. It didn't. It was like the culmination of so much. It was the culmination of every video that I did that never did anything, and every idea that I had that didn't go anywhere, and every time that I tried to execute something and it didn't turn out the way that I planned, but I kept molding and I kept shaping and I kept tweaking until we finally got some success. I went through the winter for a long time to create my spring, which is what people see now. They congratulate you when you've hit that spring, when they see that success. You're doing so good now, Justin. You're doing great, man. How'd you get to 400,000 subscribers? I went through the winter for so long that now it is spring. So all that to say, we must create our spring instead of wait for it. So if you're currently putting off building your business, or you're currently putting off getting started, or even if you're